All right. Cool. Well, tonight we have Chaz Truehill. I've said it wrong
That's right.
about 9 times in my head. And we have Laramy O'Leary tonight from L&L Outdoors. And L&L Outdoors, I'm just shooting from the hip here, but it started with just a gun and pawn shop, right?
That's correct, yes. Back in 1981, my grandpa Lawrence loaned my dad $20,000 to start it. Dad had been working as an accountant at a business, and he wasn't happy with where he was at, and so he did that. And so Dad ran it from 1981 to 2017, and in 2017, I felt like it was time for Dad to retire. He's about 67 years old, and I bought it from him, and we were in a 3,000 square foot building, and we were running out of a little room, and so then we added on 2019, and so that's what brings us here to where we are today.
Right.
So
2019 is when you built the new building?
I started building it in 2018, and then we opened, I believe, August 30th of 2019 is when we opened. Yes.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, well, that's awesome. That's in Jay, Oklahoma, for everybody that don't know.
I visit there often.
Yeah. Yeah, we go there a lot. Also, you own O'Leary Bail Bonds. Do you own that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's another family business that my mom started in 1989. She decided to retire in 2014. I had 2 other brothers that were in the business with us. One retired as well in 2014, and then my middle brother Larry, he decided to retire in 2023 from the bail bond business. So I own that. Chaz works with me on that. He covers Delaware County, and then we have an agent in Mays County, and we have an agent that we just hired in Tulsa County as well. Now we can go statewide. That's an interesting business, and it's one that I cut my teeth on, and it's probably my favorite thing that I do.
Are you serious?
Oh, absolutely.
I was just getting ready to ask you if you was ready to get out of it. But
It's funny. I have a friend that was in the bail bond business for years. His name's Robbie Inman from Pryor, and his dad, Eddie Ray, I mean, I watched him walk in there with his coffee in the middle of the night during Rocklahoma, and he and I are competing for bonds, and I'm like, I want to be that guy. And it's funny I say that because I just really, really enjoy the job. I don't know how to explain that, but it's the first real good job I had, and it's the job that I love, and so it's great. Chaz loves it, and my other agents love it, and it provides for a family very well.
So you help with L&L and
Yep. So I'm one of the managers at L&L.
Yeah.
Kind of help Larry do all the ordering and inventory. Then we have a floor manager that's kind of over the sales named Tim Mathis. But yeah, so Larry and I became, just to jump back real quick, we became friends in 2004. I was a freshman. He was a senior at Jay High School, and I was the kid that got to sit on the senior bench with him. So they kind of took me under their wing and became really close. So in 2007 or 8, we became really good friends, and I had graduated by then. And I went on. We started lawn service in 2010. I kind of took over that in, I think, 12, and sold it in 14. And then in 2016, he approached me about coming to work for him, and had no idea that the L&L Outdoors was in play. I mean, maybe a pawn shop, but at the time it was trucking and excavation, and done that for a couple of years. In 2016, I came to work with them January 1st, and here it is, 2025, and we've since then built kind of a dynasty, if you will. But yeah, I took over Delaware County in the bail bond industry, and kind of a, you think, are we tired of it? No, I mean it's a very taxing job. It's 24/7, but at the same time, there's a lot of freedom with it. As weird as that sounds, but it's I have found a good ministry, and it's super cool to help people that's hit rock bottom.
Yep.
And an opportunity just to kind of see people with sobriety, and it's been neat. I mean, for instance, just a quick story. I had a guy out on a few bonds that turned south. He wound up running on us. Laramy and I went and apprehended him into custody, took him back in after we arrested him, and wasn't real happy that day. Of course, he was on drugs, and I think this is last week. I saw him in court, and he just mouthed the words, "Thank you for saving my life." And he's been there for, I think, 2 months now. But at the time, and we told him that day, taking it back, like, you don't realize what we're doing for you right now, but you will eventually. And so, anyways, it's rewarding at the same time. But yes, it's a fun industry. You never know what the next phone call is going to bring. So, but between L&L and O'Leary Bell Bonds, we stay.
Yeah, I've noticed that that you're on the phone all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you're just all the time answering phone calls. But well, hey, before I forgot about something, I got you guys something.
Oh,
We got you guys something. They're Battle Branch Boys tumblers.
Sweet.
And they already have
right.
coffee in them.
thank you.
All right.
If you want some creamer here, you can put some creamer in it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
But
I'm definitely going to do the creamer thing. So. I was going to tell you could fill up the creamer and then add the coffee.
So
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
yeah. My brother Will and his wife Ashley, they own and operate branded duck, and they do these tumblers for us and
Oh, cool.
build hats and shirts and stuff for us. So I took him this one, and Will made this one, and his wife saw it and was like, "That's too busy. I don't like that." So she got the leather.
I love that.
I did.
is
Too. I
super
think they're
cool.
I think we
so.
need to put these in the store.
Yeah.
They're gonna go in the store. I really love them.
Yes.
So what do you want to talk about first? Chase he's recovered
Yeah,
from.
I was sick like last week, and I'm just sitting here trying not to cough the whole time.
I understand.
So tell me about L&L Outdoors. What's the plans? What's the goal? What?
How long? It's been a few years. How long has it been since you changed it from like the pawn shop and you built like the new building and stuff?
Well, in 2019, so I bought the shop from 17, what you would call more of a pawn shop gun store, where you had 120 guns in stock. You had mainly pawn things, and we saw a vision early on to go after some big name brands that I wish my dad had done earlier. It's funny when you become a dealer like that. Let's talk about Benelli, for instance. We all shot Benellis. Dad, Larry Lee, Laren. I mean, we all did. And then all the friends shot them. But Dad, to buy into Benelli, you had to spend like $30,000 a year. And Dad didn't ever think that we'd sell that many Benellis in Jay. So, we would go to Bill's Sporting Goods in Claremore, or there was another, I think it was called Bill's Sporting Goods in Enid, and we'd buy all these Benellis. And at the end of the day, I'm like, Dad, if we would have bought in, we had enough friends and enough people. So when I took over, Chaz and I both, we saw the vision to go after Benelli. And so that was the first thing we did. We bought into Benelli. We had them. We bought into Vortex. Vortex at that time, not saying they weren't big as they are now, but we knew we wanted that. Mm-hmm. And so when we buy into those Kimber and all those deals,
Sitka.
It gave us, in Sitka, it gave us territory protection. So we may have the 60-mile radius or 50-mile radius or 40-mile radius of these big name brand companies that we really want to go after and target. And so as we did that, it just keeps growing and growing and growing, and we're getting this much inventory in this little building. And so now we're looking at, we need to add on. We've added on as much as we can do. And Chaz and I were constantly, and maybe Chaz more than I, was trying to figure out where we can put stuff. I was like, we were to the point like,
playing Jenga.
Do we need to put guns on the, hang fishing string down and hang guns from the top of the building at this point? And so in saying that, I had some other real estate, and I came to him and I just told him, I said, I own these 3 other buildings, and I said, if I sell 2 of the 3, I'm going to put them on the market. I said, if I sell 2 of the 3, I'm going to build this store. And it was great timing for me at the time and for all of us, because it was pre-COVID. Prices were pretty decent. And so we built this 18,000 square foot store for probably a third of what that building would cost us today. And that was a true blessing, And so in moving that way, we are always trying to see, we want to sell the products that we want to use. Mm-hmm. And so, there was a time when we talk about thermal scopes that, and I'm not trying to talk bad about them, but I thought Pulsar might have hung the moon. And now we've got AGM thermals out there that that are amazing products. They're made in Texas, 5-year warranties. And so moving.
Me and Logan actually came in there and bought
Yeah.
an AGM thermal.
Phenomenal product.
The Rattler.
Yes, and I mean they start at like $799 and they go up to $7,500, and they hit that whole market. But it was just work. So not saying we won't. I ordered a guy an iRay the other day, and that's a good product too. But not saying that I won't sell other products or order you other products, but we're pinpointing what we're going to use. So if you walk in there, I'm shooting an AGM. Chaz shooting AGM. There was another company called Boremaster that was a good thermal, and a lot of two or three of my guys that work for me shoot those. But we targeted that because what we did was another brand started having trouble, and we had to get away from them. And I hate that happened because I was on board with them, and I thought they were a leading edge thermal, for instance. So then we talk about Sitka, or we talk about other firearms or other products that we have, Turtle Box. I mean, we want in there, and we want to know about the product that we're selling, and that's what we're going to push to you, Yeah. And because we've used it, we kind of know. And like in Sitka gear, let's just talk about, when you talk about Sitka gear, there's also a brand that competes with Sitka, and that's Kuiu. And so we talk about mountain hunters. A lot of mountain hunters use Kuiu, and I'm not against Kuiu. The only issue that I have with Kuiu is that Sitka allows me to sell it in my store. Kuiu is an online store. I think they might open a store in Dallas, and I think they have one in California.
I didn't know that.
So therefore, you can't go. I can't. You can't unless you drive to Dallas or you go to California. You can't come in and try something on and say, "Do I like this? Do I not?" And so it's a great product, but obviously you see where we're at with Sitka. And Sitka's more whitetail hunters and things like that. And Sitka really got on board with their backpacks and all their mountain stuff. And when I was hunting back, say 10 years ago, when I had friends in New Mexico, they'd be Kuiu'd out. I'd be like, oh man, I really want those rain pants, or oh, I want that backpack. Well, the next year Sitka would have it, Yeah. So those good companies like that, they will mimic and they will follow. Trend. They'll get on board there. Yeah. And I do think that Sitka does a great job with better job than probably anybody else with their whitetail products. And then it bleeds on over to turkey, like your subalpine colors and things like that.
And waterfowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just recently, that upper level.
Yeah.
Was that last year or year before
last? Kind of
last?
extended that, and it's full of Sitka.
Last August, I believe.
I believe last August. Yeah. So, we had product up there, and we had it in a small area, and then we extended our upstairs by probably another 1,000, 1,200 square feet. That's just straight Sitka gear, And then we have, extra tough boots are up there and muck boots. And then now Sitka, speaking of Sitka, has come out with a line of hunting boots. So they've got your like
$85, something like that.
Yeah,
Roughly.
yeah, $49.99. Yeah, so.
That's awesome. Cool.
So yeah, when he talks about the product that we carry, like it's so easy to sell you something that I'm passionate about, right? I mean, and that's part of retail business. Like if I don't think this is a very good cup here, it's hard for me to tell you like. It doesn't hold heat very long, but you should buy it. Like, no, I'm going to tell you, like, this is a great product.
It's cheap.
I mean, it's beautiful. But when you think about, for instance, Sitka gear, Sitka, using that as an example, they're so far ahead in performance and R&D, the research and development. Like I learned from our rep a while back that a little bit about Gore-Tex and, a lot of waterproof stuff. You still sweat in, so therefore you get wet because your body can't breathe. Where Gore-Tex, the membranes are on the outside are 20,000 times smaller than a raindrop, but they're still 700 times larger than a sweat vapor. So your body breathes, and that's how you actually stay dry. So like Columbia and some of these other companies that are good. I bought a Columbia jacket in the mountains one time, and I took it off after a rainstorm. And I was completely drenched, and I was like, "Man, this thing is leaking." But I didn't realize it was my own body that couldn't breathe. So Sitka is just so far ahead of their science side of it.
You won't know unless you own it, though.
Right.
You won't know it.
That's for sure. And until you own it, and you won't realize how bad you needed it before. I mean, it's we call the net gator that Sitka makes. We used to call it the gateway drug. If I can get you just to buy a net gator, you're hooked, man. Like you're coming back.
Man, the first real hate we got on a video was down at I was hunting in Arkansas, and it was really late in the season, and it was a horrible hunting experience. I drew my bow back, and when I did, I bumped the release at like 2 inches draw, and the arrow goes poop and lands like 10 inches from the doe's feet.
Oh gosh.
And she just runs off just a little bit, and I knock another one, drop back and shoot, and it looks like a horrible shot because she was quartering away so hard. It ended up coming out right in her armpit on the other side. It's perfect, but it was the first time I'd wore Sitka, and it was like the guy can't even shoot a bow. Look at his anchor point. It was like way up here because I was weird in the tree like this, and then they were all like, and he's wearing Sitka. You know what I mean? It was the first time that we'd ever really. It was kind of hard to overcome that one. I remember that one.
That one might have got you a lot of views on.
Oh, it did.
That was kind of whenever it first started taking off, and Logan did not know how to handle the criticism.
Oh, it was
He's
bad.
like, "What are these people talking about?"
Yeah. I wanted to prove them all wrong.
Right.
He was commenting. He was trying to comment back to like 600 different people.
Yeah, just let it go.
Yeah. Now we know that kind of fuels the fire. When there's opposition, it fuels the fire, and that's what kind of makes it go. But I mean, and we've also realized that there's just absolute evil in the world.
Yeah.
They just really are. There's just these people will never be satisfied with anything.
Right.
So, but that's that. I hope that we can reach them someday.
That's what we pray for.
One soul at a time. Huh?
That's right. But so you just went on a moose hunt, and that's probably going to be the key conversation that we have tonight. But so first of all, you drew a governor's tag. Is that?
So a friend of mine that I have recently met, I've gotten to know him through one of the businesses. He's an avid outdoorsman and a great donator to the Sheep Foundation and to Wyoming, and he's been on a lot of bighorn sheep hunts, quite a few, and a few moose hunts, and got to know him really well. We became good friends. And out of nowhere, about 3 weeks before we go on this hunt, he basically calls me and says, I want to give you this governor's tag for a Shiras moose in Wyoming. And at first I was kind of like, man, there's no way.
Now, hold up. We got to tell everybody what this is worth, right?
Yeah.
I mean, can we do that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So he purchased two of these, one for $71,000 and one for $100,000.
Oh my gosh.
And honestly gave it to me like it was a box of chocolates. I mean, just like, here you go, man. You need this more than I do. And I at first, I didn't
He's
want
got my kind of money.
Yeah, almost.
Laramy's like, nope, got to work.
I couldn't get off.
You got to work, but I think I can go.
That's right.
So I at first I didn't want to accept it. It was really hard for me to. No one's ever given me anything like that in life. But it was really hard to accept. I kind of fought it for a minute, and he gave me the whole, don't rob me of my blessing talk. So
Yeah.
I listened to him. And like I said, 3 weeks before, so I found out it's a bow hunt. I didn't know if it's a gun hunt, bow hunt. I knew nothing. I mean, I didn't even know there was moose in Wyoming. I thought they're honestly further up north in Canada and
Yeah.
obviously Yellowstone, but I didn't know they're where we were going.
Right.
So I start shooting my bow, completely prepared to take my Matthews with me and punch a tag at however close we can hopefully get to him. I mean,
Right.
I'm no great archer, so I was hoping inside maybe 60 yards. 3 weeks before he even at first I thought I need to start practicing, I need to start getting ready just in case this really happens. But I've still got my reservation. This may not come through. I mean, this is not an average just white-tailed deer hunt.
Yeah.
So one of the ladies reached out to me, asked what my address was, and I thought, wow, this is getting a little more serious. Now they know my address, so they're obviously mailing something. And I go check the mail a few days later and open it up, and there's the Wyoming governor's tag application, which you have to fill out in order to redeem the voucher or the tag. So at that point, I get a phone call from Lost Creek Outfitters, which is the guide service that we went with there in Wyoming. We're west of Laramy, about 30 miles in a town called Centennial. So we're in the snowy mountains. That's correct what it's called, right? I get a phone call from them, kind of reserving that. Want to make sure, hey, when can you be here? Season's open September 1st. This is like, I think I found out about the hunt August 9th or 10th, and then this is like August 21st maybe. And I'm actually talking to a guide, and we're 9 days away, and I'm still tuning my bow, shooting. I changed my arrows, changed everything I was doing because I started getting in your head, right? So I'm and I wasn't worried about that aspect. I just want to make sure I was prepared, have a good, big game arrow. And so then the next phone call is from the actual guide himself. So the outfitter gives my number to the guide. The guide calls me, and we start making actual plans. Like, if you can be here on the 2nd. He had another hunter that drew a friend of his from high school that drew a trifecta tag, which is another lottery deal.
Unbelievable. 1 in 24,000 chance to draw on this super. Is it superfecta? Is that what they call it?
Maybe, yeah.
A $30 ticket, and he you could choose any animal to hunt, but he chose a goat, a bighorn, and a moose because he had already killed several nice bull elk. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I was
Hunt
so
of a
proud.
lifetime.
I was so happy with this guy.
And he was so cool.
Oh, he was awesome.
Name was Nate. Man, he was Nate Miller,
very,
right?
Very good hunter and just very, very down to earth.
Yeah, super cool. So, so now I'm talking to the guide, and we're reaching the day quick. And my boy's birthday is September 1st. I didn't want to miss his birthday, and I was like, man, this works out good. I don't have to be there till the 2nd or 3rd. And he's like, let me get Nate going. I'll get him on a moose, and I've got a few good moose found. So, and the other tag that he purchased for the 100,000 was also given to another guy that he liked, and I mean, the guy was just like, man, I've killed moose, I've done it. Why not bless somebody else? And that's his aspect, his outlook on that.
I would love.
Oh man! So
love for
I
him
put
to
in for
give
another
me
one
one.
next year. No, but so I get a hold of Laramy, and I'm like, hey, he told me I could bring somebody. You're my guy. I've been on a lot of hunts with Laramy. We'll talk about some of those shortly, I'm sure. I've been a lot of on a bystander hunt, and which is just as fun. And Laramy knows that now. It may be more fun. There's no pressure.
Oh no, we know.
And you're chilling and,
know about that.
Co-pilot chilling and glassing and trying not to pack anything. No,
How my bow shoots.
right? Yeah, he wasn't worried about anything.
That's right.
Yeah,
Didn't have to tune your bow, did you?
So we get all the details. Get everything figured out, where we're meeting, who's taking us. The guy named Cody was a phenomenal person, maybe one of the best guys I've ever met in the West. I mean, just down to earth. The guy was a hotshot firefighter for a while, 17 years, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, had
that's
a lot.
A whole nother story.
Had a lot of, awesome stories about being a hotshot force firefighter. So, anyways, we pack up September 1st evening. My wife okayed the idea to do a birthday breakfast instead of a supper because I was wanting to get on the road. Like, hey, I'm here for his birthday. Let's go ahead and do a little brunch. And my boy loves breakfast, pancakes,
awesome.
waffles. So we did the whole works. And
How old is he?
He just turned 4. Yes,
Okay.
that's our youngest. His name is Rex. So then I have Max, that's 10, and another boy that we have taken in named Michael, who is 17. So
Okay, is he who you make the videos of?
Yeah,
for the
the little
football?
highlight reels
Okay,
of it. Yeah,
cool.
he's-
All
he's
right. I
Jay's-
wondered how that was
he's
connected.
Jay's starting running back. He's
Okay.
I'm proud of him. He's doing good.
For sure.
So we leave September 1st evening, 2 or 3. And after the party's over, we're packed up. We got everything and ice chest. I mean, I'm going to go get a moose. It's not. I'm not going to buy an ice chest when I get there. I have my ice chest with me. Like, let's go get a moose. I'm trying to be optimistic,
That's
right?
good.
So we
You better have a big one for one of those.
we had 3 big ones.
3 of them.
3 big ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. That's Laramy will give you an idea. I mean, everybody is familiar with an elk. The size of an elk. Pretty much, most people are. We'll talk about meat. That's another story. But anyways, so we drive a little over halfway, and wake up the next morning and drive on into Cheyenne, where I go take my voucher. Because I got the application in the mail so late, they were worried that my application wouldn't get there and then back to me, and what if it got lost? I mean, there's a lot of variables here. So we drive to Cheyenne. I just hand deliver, and even then, like, it was nerve wracking. Like you're at Cheyenne Fish and Game, the headquarters, And all I could think of was getting in there and being like, nope, this is no good. I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean,
You spelled your name wrong.
yeah, something. So, and I told him, I don't even want to fill it out until you're watching me. Like, you tell me to do everything perfectly right. And then I met with that lady that had been there for a long time, sweetest lady ever. Not real fast. She maybe persistent, but very. I told our guide it was like watching Zootopia when they go to the
I was just
the
thinking that.
DMV. He's like 765-3827. You know, that's how this lady was. And I think her name is Beth. Phenomenal woman, but then we were there for probably almost an hour, and all you have to do is fill this out, hand it to her, and she prints off your license. So, anyways, now we got the license. We're headed to Laramy. And he calls like that morning. He said, "Hey, what time can you be here?" And I'm not supposed to hunt till the next morning, so we're just hanging out. We stopped at Shields, and and I know that we cheated on L&L for a minute. That's a neat store though.
What a store!
Yeah, what a store for sure. I mean,
Shields?
yeah,
It's insane.
Yeah,
It
we
is.
stopped twice.
yeah. Don't tell the owners of L&L.
I may or may not have bought a pair of Crispies there.
That's awesome.
Phenomenal store. So we're en route, and he's like, "Man, can you be here at, I will probably be there at 5 or so." He's like, "Dude, can you get here quicker?" I'm like, "Yeah." So we're eating lunch fast and we're on the road. I'm like, "Are we hunting this evening?" He's like, "Yeah, we're going to probably get to." And I was like, "Oh, wow, this is game changer." So I get there and we jump into Sitka gear. I mean, out of the truck, feet on the dirt, shake his hand, and
Absolutely.
we're throwing pants on.
I think I told you to shoot your bow.
Yeah, I wasn't even,
times.
my brain was, I'm still processing that we're on a Shiras moose hunt, right? And it's still,
fast,
it did go fast. And so anyways.
How many days did you have to hunt?
I have until, with a governor's tag, the way I understood it, and viewers, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I think I had till September 31st with archery. And then at some point, the rifle season opens, and you can even feel it then. And you have until December 31st. And that's what my guide said. You will kill a Shiras moose this year. Like, we're going to get you one.
Awesome.
But
it did.
right, it ought to be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm throwing my bow in the truck, and Larry said, "Don't you think you should probably shoot that?" And I was like, "Great idea!" Like, we're going. We haven't been there for two
I
minutes.
bet Chaz's head is just.
Oh man,
Did you fly or drive?
We drove. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I
we.
knew that. I don't know why.
Yeah. So I shoot a couple arrows, and I'm nervous, and I'm shooting a terrible group at 30 yards. I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna get in my head now. I've been shooting good all the past 2 weeks. I'm ready to go. So the first night we walk around, and we also took a Raven crossbow, which is what all of his clients have shot a moose with so far. He's the only one. The guide is the only one that has shot one with a compound. And I told him, I said, "Man, I really want to kill us with a compound." That was my goal. And so anyways, he said, "Well, bring the Raven anyways. Definitely want to have it because there's sometimes hard to close the distance on." So first night we see one cow and maybe a calf. Is that what it was? Mm-hmm. And we're just kind of driving through the refuge or the national forest, and we find a spot that he thinks is productive. He's pretty optimistic that we'll maybe call one in or see one and be able to close. So we all three split up. Laramy goes to one run. I go to another, meadow, I guess you could say, and he goes to the opposite side. And we hunt till dark. Don't see anything. So the next morning, it's Labor Day.
Can we back up and talk about our food that night?
Oh man.
We have time
Johnny?
for this. We could talk about
Man, we ate at a little restaurant / maybe bar in Centennial.
And we just, we off the mountain, and you know how you want a good food, good
Yeah.
meal. And
Yeah.
so
I do.
We get there, and anyway,
Go ahead.
telling the story.
Go ahead.
Well, as soon as we go in, this guide that we have could be one of the greatest guys I've ever met. I mean, nice
Phenomenal.
and just phenomenal. And we walk in. Of course, it's a bar restaurant, and there's 3 guys over to our left and a girl. And this guy starts hollering, "I know him. I know you. You're Cody." And you used to hot shot. And he's, it's the bar and it's 10:30. You can imagine. We haven't had anything to drink, but they have. And that's to my left, and I'm sitting. So Cody's a big guy, and I'm little, but he's a big guy. He's sitting to my left, and he's talking to this guy that's, for lack of a better word, is very, very arrogant. Mm. And the guy wants to buy us a round of drinks, and we don't want a round of drinks.
Right, we don't drink.
We're hunting.
Give me a Pepsi.
Yeah,
And
that's what we did.
You
Diet
could
Pepsi.
tell it irritated him. Uh-huh. And so then I've got Chaz on my right, and then on the other side of Chaz,
What he's saying, he's safe. He's got this big guy on the left and Chaz on his right. The dude's safe. No.
And I look up, and over to my right is this guy staring a hole in my head. And these out of towners coming into town and taking my picture.
Taking my pictures. He was mad.
He's
just
mad.
mad at the world. Just
And,
mainly us.
Mainly me.
I mean, he might as well sell those two Okies right there. Is what he should have said.
And so he and the bartender's real cool. And so as this goes on, I'm listening to this conversation to my left. It's kind of getting a little out of control. And then I'm watching my guy on the right, seeing how we're going to get out of this situation. And so this guy on the right, I mean, by the end, a few more minutes, he is punching his hand like this and just staring a hole in me.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh, no. And then at some point, he just walks out the bar. And so I'm like, well, we avoided that, you know.
Kind of one of those. His name is Johnny. Kind of the bartender's like, pretty much like, go home, Johnny. You're drunk. Like, get out of here. I mean, I think Johnny's there every night.
The bartender used a very, I'm not going to say it. I don't think it's very politically correct how he described this guy. But if you can kind of go there, it kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah, for sure.
And so anyway, that happens and all that's going on. And then at some point, Mr. Arrogant over here has touched this other guy that he's with's wife on the butt. And so that guy hollers across the room and's like, hey, don't touch her, you know.
Oh my God.
And so I'm like, it's about to go down.
Meanwhile, we're just trying to kill a moose.
Yeah, and eat.
And I mean, a steak, a little soap opera
finally,
here.
that guy leaves, and very good food. And that guy leaves,
Phenomenal
and then
food.
everything was good. So I'll let him carry on. But I
Yeah.
thought that was worth telling. So,
So,
it was quite an experience. No longer I'd been in this town.
So we get done eating. We head back to we're staying like in a big barn. It's a wedding venue, and they've made it into a or it's a big barn they've made into a wedding venue is what I'm trying to say. And there's like a kind of a little maybe like a bridegroom apartment, and there's like a little living room, kitchen, and there's just a big open barn. So me and the guide, for those that know my best friend Laramy, know that he's a princess when it comes to sleeping and quality shower and quality bed. So I said, man, he didn't have a bed. So I said, you take the couch, I'll sleep on the floor, which I brought my air mat, you know, because I thought we might camp
He's
even.
not really telling that right. He didn't tell me that. I took the couch.
Yeah.
And I moved it into the heated part.
Yeah.
Of
I'm out there in the cold. Like, hey, this is my hunt. You go ahead, buddy. No. And good sleep's very important to him. And I'm the type of guy, I can sleep on this table. So I might wake up sore, but I can do it. So anyways, we wake up the next morning. And the goal where I was going earlier, the goal with the next morning's hunt was to get away from people because we're Labor Day week or weekend. So there's a lot of, and he said the place we went through that I thought was a lot of people, there was, 15 or 20 campers. He said it was 10 times more than that over the weekend. There was people everywhere.
And then it's opening of bow season for elk.
For elk,
and
too.
In the area we're in a general tag for residents of Wyoming.
Correct.
So there's a lot of people in the
Yeah.
area.
So not what I was expecting. Having a governor's tag for a Shiras moose, I thought it might be me in the mountains, and
that's what I was thinking in my head.
I thought so
It's going
too.
to be you.
Yeah.
So, and Cody just knowing the area, and he was laying down that night, just kind of pondering. He said, "Man, Chaz, I'm trying to think what to do tomorrow, but the only thing I know to do, because I've hunted moose enough, that we just need to get away from people."
And I'll back up and say those other guys have been there for 2 days and they've struck out.
Yeah, haven't killed anything yet.
So
Yeah, so
What was the terrain like in that area?
So we're at 10,500 feet. We're still in tree line. Grassy meadows with willows in them. It's not willows like we have here, but willow bushes. They're 2 foot tall, and that's what the moose like to eat. A little bit marshy or boggy kind of. A lot of evergreens, just tall evergreens.
Absolutely
Beautiful. I mean, just beautiful. Not much rocky top looking. I mean, but it's all just evergreens and meadows, and just man, looks like you just sit up there and watch the wind blow and write a song about it. It's pretty.
Was it a lot of like up and down in elevation, or
No, I mean, definitely a change in the vehicle
So
for sure.
what was neat about hunting those moose was that where the moose are going to be in those meadows, there's always road access.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you think of elk hunting and you think that I'm going to take off across here, those elk like to be low and then they go high and they're always moving. Well, these moose, they won't even really, the way the guide explained to me, they won't even really go out into the timber much. Like what they consider to get away from, obviously they just want to sit there and eat and drink, and they've got water and they've got food. they
They're
would
pretty
only
content.
they would only go into the woods maybe 30 or 40 yards when it got hot.
Yeah.
And then they'd be right back there.
Yeah.
So as far as the physical part of us, like I think of elk hunting and how physical that can get, we weren't exposed to that really. Not saying
So
it
it wasn't like a brutal Colorado Rocky
No,
Mountain.
I would say we were probably over prepared as far as we've been doing some hiking and
I had bought a weighted vest and I'm expected to, pack out this heavy moose. And,
20,000
Yeah.
pound moose in your head, like,
So, I was trying to really, really get prepared. And I look back on a lot of my other hunts, I will get prepared. And then, like, the last 2 weeks, you're like so busy that you got to get all this stuff done. You kind of quit running, you kind of quit exercising. I was totally opposite on this hunt. I was like, because I only had that window to get prepared, I was making myself get prepared for what we thought we were going to have to do.
yeah. Which you never know.
You didn't have to do it.
Right. You never know till you get there, right? You're always.
We had probably a 3/4 mile pack out.
Yeah. I'd probably, 3/4 to a mile,
awesome.
maybe. Yeah.
You know?
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was nice.
Yeah.
So we wake up that morning and he said, let's go get away from people. That was the game plan. It wasn't, hey, let's go target this bull that I saw yesterday, or hey, let's go over here and look at these 2 bull that I saw 2 weeks ago. It was, let's go get away from people.
And believe it or not, people did not want to be down that dirt road that we went down.
Maybe because it hadn't been graded in probably a couple thousand years since the flood.
That is funny.
But
They do get out of hand up there.
Oh man!
And his poor Jeep. I mean, is a cool Jeep, and not your typical Jeep, not a Wrangler, but a what do they call those?
It was
More like the SUV mom Jeep.
Cherokee, right?
Cherokee's what they used to call them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like probably 90s model, but he made it a hunting rig. It was cool, but
Those are awesome.
had some bad struts, and it was so loud. You could hardly even talk in there. It was so loud. But so we're driving, and it's starting to get daylight. We're just kind of spotting and not spotting and stock. We're just kind of stopping and glassing little pockets, little meadows, and we're just driving away. And he looks back and says, "Oh my gosh, get your bow. There's a giant." And immediately my heart just starts pounding. It finally, at that point, it probably finally got real. Like, Chaz, you are getting ready to shoot a Shiras moose. Because the whole time I just still like, and it's easy for a bystander to be like, oh, I mean, yeah, it's obvious. But it was hard for me to process. Like, someone just handed me a $71,000 tag and said, go kill a moose.
What I thought was cool about it, and he doesn't know this, is I knew, like, obviously you don't know you're hunting, but I knew it was going to happen. It was so cool to be on my side of it and get out of that. A lot of times in the morning, I'm like all tired and this and that. And I was just so excited to get out of that Jeep and just know what we are about to go do.
I mean,
what I mean?
Yeah, it feels like this was God orchestrated.
Absolutely. And we're in his creation.
Like, he doesn't know this, but he's the hunter and I'm the bystander, but in his mind, he's got all these doubts. I don't have any doubts. Like, I know we're going to make it happen.
I know what you mean. Me and Logan have a video on the YouTube whenever you killed Chuck.
Yeah.
And I can relate to you on that video because I'm sitting there up in the tree filming Logan and we see this buck come. It takes forever for it to come in.
Oh yeah, forever.
Yeah.
And I'm watching him come in and I'm not worried at all.
Yeah.
But like I'm sitting there like, okay, he's gonna make a good shot. I just gotta focus on getting this. And whenever he does make the shot, and I'm sure you felt like that whenever he killed the moose, or I'm shaking more than he is. Yeah. I'm sitting there like, oh my God.
Yeah, being a co-pilot or a co-hunter is a lot of fun.
I feel like I made a
pressure.
mistake later on. We'll get to it when he gets there, and he doesn't have my perspective on this. But as he goes on a little bit in the story, I'll stop him again and tell him where I had stepped, and I'm like, oh. I just screwed up, It's like, but anyway, go ahead.
He was getting ready to wear an arrow. No. He messed his hunt up. No. So yeah, we get out of the vehicle and man, my brain is Matthews, right? That's all I'm thinking about. Mm-hmm. And he says, "Hey, let's grab that crossbow." Which his brother or brother-in-law was a game warden, so he had made sure it was okay for us to pack 2 weapons. The obvious answer was, well, as long as his buddy doesn't shoot it. Well, so Laramy was my, hey, pack this just in case, okay? Mm-hmm. So and I said, "Are you sure?" And he was like, "Oh, we got to take the crossbow, man." He's like, "This is a good bull." And already I just felt defeated. Like, we hadn't even got out of the vehicle yet. And I'm okay. I'm trying to keep my head on. And I got a goal in my brain is to kill it with the.
So they allowed you to carry it?
Yep. So I followed him with the crossbow. They allowed me to carry the crossbow. And so I just tried to stay as close to him. is he's got his compound, but I'm following like, buddy, if you need this, and then we've
I'm
got a
just
set of
there. I'm just here to hand it to you.
we've got a set of shooting sticks, and so it's a game on. I mean, we cannot screw this up. We know those other hunters have been in there for a couple days and they've struck out, and we know this is it.
Yeah, we're finally to a place where we have an assault vehicle today. So we're away from population. So we get out, we start making the trek, and they're probably half mile away, maybe something like that. I'm just throwing a number. I don't know. Somewhere, I mean, my vision was going like this. So I when we get low enough, we're hunched down and we're kind of walking some creek banks. I go ahead and take an arrow out of my quiver, put it on, and I got my release on. I'm ready. And we're by no means going fast. We are taking time, and we are making sure this is done
And we
right.
crawled at some point.
Crawled some. Yeah, we're putting the sneak on these guys, and they're in a big meadow, and you have like a peninsula of trees, and they're kind of on the back side of the point in a
You
sense.
say they. How many were?
Yeah. So when we get somewhat close, he was like, "There's actually 2 good bulls out there," and I was like, "Oh man, this is getting real." Then we get a little bit closer, and he said, "Oh wow, there's 4 bulls out there."
There end up being 5.
There ended up being 5. One disappeared on us right when we started, making the trek there. But there wound up being 3. Let me back up. There wound up being 2 really, really good bulls, 1 good bull and 1 smaller bull, and the smaller one was the narc.
Yeah. So whenever, and I've never hunted moose, so I've got elk on my brain, and I'm, in my brain, maybe your guys aren't like this, but I'm always like, they're going to get away, And so where they were at in this nook, it looked to me like, they've fed and they're starting to want to ease into the timber, just like an elk does. And man, I'm like, we need to get up there. We need to get up there because it looks like they're going to disappear. But go ahead.
Yeah, the guide knows. I mean, he knows Shiras moose or moose in general, and at the time your heart's racing. You don't really know what to expect, but we're So we've crawled, we've snuck through the creek, we've stayed as low as we could, and we're to a point now. The 3 bigger ones, of course, are behind the trees, and they're like Larry said, they're starting to walk to the left, which puts them back into the wilderness. So the meadow's to our right, okay, and I just see paddles, and I'm talking big paddles. Like, oh my gosh, this is really getting real, and I'm pinching myself, like, wake up, Chaz. So this smaller bull, the smaller of the now 4, which would have been 5 at one point, and there was a cow and a calf to our right when we were first walking in.
Yeah.
So they're gone. We kind of kept an eye on them, make sure they weren't going to bust us. You're used to deer and elk, and like but
Not
it's
same.
different. So
at this point on the trip, this is the very first moose
morning.
you're seeing.
yes, well the night before we saw just a
Cow.
cow.
Oh,
and a
yeah,
calf.
yeah.
And we saw a small bull that morning up in a in a park.
Yeah.
I would call it a park up
like
by
a
a
little
lake.
fishing area. Yeah,
Dude, and he was up on this hill, and I just remember looking up there,
Looked like
and
he
he
was
had the
12
light
foot
coming behind him, and he looked like he was 15 foot
yeah. I mean,
tall.
just looks
That's
so
what
different.
that's what I was fixing to ask
He was
next.
just a little bitty, palmed out. He was just huge.
So like, I mean, have you been elk hunting?
Oh yeah, so I've been with him a few times, and once myself, and ate a tag sandwich. But
I have. Okay, I've been elk hunting a lot, in Colorado, but we always go south.
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen a moose.
Me neither
And
until this time. Yeah.
I have heard what was going through your head whenever you seen it, because I've heard whenever you see one in person, you're just like, how is that?
It's
How is
majestic.
there an animal this big?
Yeah, it is definitely majestic. It and you're looking like when you're driving the road, you're looking for a giant piece of coal. I mean, they're black. They look black as night out there with white paddles. Or in this case, there are some that are still in velvet. So, and that, which is another thing. We had stopped at Shiras to get Velvelock, which is a spray you put on if you kill one in velvet to kind of cure it. Mm-hmm. So
The other thing about that, when we're putting this sneak on them, I mean, we are down crawling, and all you see is this. So you can keep an eye on their horns because they're so big sticking out, and they can't see us because we're crawling up through there. And the wind, thank God,
perfect.
Like you said, a God thing.
Yeah,
wind is perfect. I mean,
Right.
it's blowing right in our face.
Yeah.
So
we're putting the sneak on now. It's the guide, Cody. It's myself and Laramy behind me. And I've still got my Matthews in hand. And Cody says, "Stop." And I look up, and this smaller bull has us pinned.
Oh gosh.
How far?
He's probably
60.
Yeah, 60, 70 yards, something like that. And he's got us pinned. But he doesn't know. So moose, we learned a lot about moose hunting in one day. Moose can see, obviously, but they don't have great vision. Of course, they have great smell because their nose is longer than a horse's, and they have great hearing because the paddles on their antlers actually help magnify the sound to their ears. Of course, they also have big ears, like a donkey or something.
Yeah.
So he has whatever we are pinned down. Like he's not sure, but he's just sitting there watching. Well, then he does the whole deal where they turn their head sideways, and I remember seeing the white around his eyeball as it was looking. I mean, this eyeball just looking.
So their eyeball almost will like come to the side.
Weird. Yeah, real weird. So, and I'm in a half step. My front foot is on the heel, and my back foot's on toe, and I'm sitting there like leaning side to side.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And he's like, "Don't move," and I'm like, too. But it's, I mean, you're pegged down. This guy stares at us and probably, everybody always says that traffic light had been 10 minutes long. Like this probably really was 5 or 10 minutes. Like, I mean, I never stood that long, and my calves were hurting just from standing. And he turned aside and he looked back at us. And he's at the end of that. He's at the point of the peninsula of trees. So the 3 bulls are still behind the trees, but we're still seeing just giant paddles, right? Mm-hmm. We knew he wasn't our target buck. He was actually in mid shed, had velvet shedding off his horns, kind of hanging, pretty cool to see. But we knew he wasn't our target buck, or target bull, I should say.
So my point of view on this is, I was so close to him because I knew I had the crossbow, and at some point he's kind of hunkered down, and I'm over him, and then I'm just watching Chaz and Cody, like, I just need to follow them and be quiet where I'm stepping, and so then they stop. And then I'm like, and I look, and I mean that small moose is just staring a hole in us, and I feel like I'm the problem, like, you know what I'm saying? And oh man, I was like, because if we could go back to 2000, I think it was 13 or 15, I might have screwed 15. Up. Chaz had a great opportunity on an elk. So I mean, did I screw this up? But go ahead.
So
there's a little bit more at stake on this one.
Yeah,
a $70,000.
I will never forget
versus a $600 tag.
Well, but man, we had this bull peg, this elk, and I really screwed it up.
Yeah,
for Chaz.
So where are the other bulls compared to this?
So they are probably 20 to 30 yards to his back left. They're behind the trees a little bit further back. He's probably at 60 or 70 yards on the front. And the guide probably ranged him. I didn't ever range him because then it wasn't an option. But he's finally okay with this. And the guide told us the night before, or maybe the day of, or the day before, he said, moose aren't so much worried about who you are, it's where you went. So if you ever get pegged by one, he said, just stand still. They're eventually either going to be like, I don't know what that is, or at least it's not moving. He said, if you lower yourself and disappear, then they're like, hey, there was something there a second ago, and I don't know where it went. He said their vision's not real key, but their brain and their smeller and their
And the other thing you got to understand, where we were at, there wasn't a high population of wolves, and there was no bear, like no brown or grizzly. So their predator, they don't have a lot of predators. I would say if you went over closer to Yellowstone.
That's funny. That's good.
So this younger bull, smaller bull, eventually turns around and goes behind the trees. And this is where, I don't want to say Cody messed up. Cody's a phenomenal guide. I mean, this is where just probably me not being 100% confident and him not really knowing the details of the shot. Let me back up. So at some point when they walk away, we're at our end that we can't really walk any further. Like we're pegged down to a tree and we got to kind of stay here. He turns around and he says, Chaz, listen to me. And I hate to tell you this, but we got to grab the raven. And I was like, I don't want to do that, man. He said, buddy, listen, I will not, nobody's going to think any less of you for killing this with a crossbow. And I said, but I brought my Matthews, and he's like, this is a giant bull, and I am not going to let him slip through our fingers. And I understood. I looked back at Laramy, and Laramy kind of gives me the nod, like, man, let's get this thing. This is not a decent bull.
The bull, and so this whole time this is going on, I've seen all these different bulls, and this bull he kills, I was like, I want him to kill that one. But go ahead.
Yeah. So we
how hard would
and
it
I didn't
been,
tell him that. I'm just thinking that in my head. Like, this bull is ginormous. Yeah.
How hard would it have been to, find him the next day?
I don't know. I mean, he said closing in. I mean, as far as like trying to get another opportunity with the bow, closing in under that 6-yard mark is very, very hard, and probably especially for 3 of us. Maybe because he killed his with a bow, but he was by himself, belly crawling and everything. I mean,
plus you have 5 animals, you have 10 hunts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, Yaddick said 7. You had the cow and the calf too. So
and knowing that these other guys, this is day 3, and they have hunted morning and evening and all day for that matter, and have not encountered anything yet with crossbows. Even I mean, they're crossbow hunting, and I had to remind myself this hunt is a lot harder. Just because it's day 1 for us or morning 1 doesn't mean this is an easy hunt. But so, anyways, he was like,
also have. Sorry to cut you off. You also have. We're not just the only ones moose hunting either.
Right.
Yeah.
So in this area,
You get the residents.
There's 38, I believe, or 35 people that can hunt this. And so what we found out later on is these other guys that's hired these other guides, they may have like 7 or 8 people that'll go out and spot. And so I don't know that we knew that at the time, maybe,
Right.
but
our guide did.
But they will push. So if they find a world-class animal and they kind of see us on him, they may push him to another meadow and then try to get their hunter on him. But there's only 3 of us, which only 1 guide, and there's maybe 7 different guys scouting for another guy.
one client,
You see what I'm saying?
So you were like, we got to kill this guy.
Yeah.
And you're not hunting. You're not hunting little bitty tiny animal. I mean, these things are 5 giant moose or big bodied moose walk around the field. Anybody's going to see them.
Yeah.
I mean, just one guy drives by and he says, "That's where we're hunting tomorrow." So, and my guide, I'm sure, was processing all this.
Yeah,
We need
he
to get
knew
this
all
bull
that.
killed right now.
He knew all that.
So, and where the opportunity looked like it was going to be was 95 yards. And he said, "You can't shoot that far, correct?" And I was like, "I probably could, but not at a $71,000 moose. I'm not going to, I mean, I guess I could, but I mean, put it there and raise it up a little more and, then send it." But so, yeah, I understood that the crossbow was if we wanted to be.
Did you feel comfortable at 95 with a crossbow?
I wouldn't have told my guide this or Laramy this, but I never even shot the crossbow. I had 0 plans of using it. One of our bow guys at the store named Kobe, good kid that works for us. He set the crossbow all up, and I told him just make sure it's dialed in. It's a new Raven LR, which is the Raven LR has the you shoot it through a chronograph, figure out how feet per second, how fast it shoots, and you put the sticker that correlates with that on the turret. So then you can simply just dial it to whatever it is. So if you range it at 80, you put it on 80 and pull the trigger.
So a lot of your Ravens that a lot of people are going to are 0 to 100, but this new LR will go to 120.
Yeah.
Okay.
130 if the bow's fast enough. Mine wound up stopping at 120. There was another bow that shot 2 feet per second faster, and it had a 130 tape on it. But primarily 120 is inside 120. And it's as simple as just spinning the dial, just like a custom turret on a hunting rifle that we do like through Kenton Industries. Same idea. And so anyways, Kobe told me, hey, it's sighted in. I shot at 20, 30, 40. It's fine. Everything's coexisting. And I had faith in Raven that they know what they're doing, because at the end of the day, I'm not using this thing. It don't matter. So
Yeah, exactly.
I'm bringing it because the guy said I got to bring it. But now it's in my hands, and I'm like,
Probably should have shot this.
probably should have shot. So, and I didn't tell Laramy that until after the hunt was over. But, and I had complete faith in that. So he ranges the bull, the target bull at 95 yards, which was, I'm pretty positive. I mean, I'd have to really break down film. We've done a little bit of film. I'm going to try to put a video together, but it was either this bull or the other one. I think it was the other bull because I think he had wider paddles. I remember thinking that because they're both just right there together. And he said he's 95 yards. Take the shot when you can.
So this bull he's talking about, and I was videoing, but I was watching, but this bull could possibly outscore this bull. Obviously, we don't know, but we think this is a higher scored bull, but this bull he kills is like the one I was wanting to shoot.
Yeah, the bull I killed looked like the more mature bull. He was wider.
He was huge.
In a big body bull. So I tell him, I said, hey, I think the ceiling is too, we're in some pine trees, and there's some branches hanging down. I said, I think the ceiling is too low for me to take that shot. And I'm a little bit hesitant. Like, before I just start throwing arrows out here, let's talk this over for a second. And he said, no, I think you're good. And I was like, man, I really don't think I am. So I get this tripod and I'm getting as low as I can to get, lowering myself to raise the roof, right, to raise the ceiling. So he ranged up. He's at 96. And I'm like, whew. So I put on 90, 95 and I just crank it a little bit extra. And he's like 94. He's right here. You're going to have to shoot him. And I'm like, man, I don't think I can kill him. I really don't think I can kill him. And I'm already doubting myself. And I know what's going to happen. And I didn't want to be like, Cody, you don't know what you're talking about. You know, I mean, I'm not going to do that because I respect the guy a lot. And I mean, I don't think any of us knew the trajectory of even a 450 feet per second bow. It still needs a little lob in there, right? So he encouraged me to go ahead and shoot. He said, I promise you those ravens shoot pretty flat. So I spun it to 95, put it behind his shoulder, shot, and hit a limb at the ceiling and breaks off a limb. The bolt goes into the dirt, and I'm just immediately sick. And I'm like, well, there went this hunt. And now this little bull has popped back out. He's kind of looking at it. It's like, I knew something was over there. So a couple bulls run away, and the Laramie's target buck, I'm kind of watching this big paddled horn run away, and Laramie's like, hey, he's still here. And I start cranking this bow, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's right there.
34 seconds for the next shot.
Really?
That's
So,
funny.
but right now all I can think of is, I have 6 arrows in my quiver for my Matthews because I'm prepared, and I have 3 in my quiver to my Raven because I'm not using it, right? So I've already used 1 arrow.
33% of your
so
ammo's gone.
my arsenal is getting thin quick. So, and then he's like, hey, this big bull has stepped out. And then Cody starts saying, dude, this bull is a giant, man. We've got to get him killed. And I'm cranking this bow, and I'm getting set up. We're moving around, and we're low enough into the grass and the willows. I think we're good. But
It seemed like forever for him to get ready, but I am so excited because this bull that I want him to shoot is
Presented a shot.
presented a shot.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, this is going to happen. You
Yeah.
know?
So he was the bigger one.
he was probably the stud daddy of the pack. The other one probably maybe would have scored more, had thicker paddles and a little bit better fronts. But this guy was definitely, and he came around that corner like, what's over there? I mean, he's going to come check things out. And the other ones are kind of easing around like, I don't know what that branch just broke for. But so he ranges him, and he's 85, I believe is what the range was. Like I said, I didn't shoot this bow, and definitely didn't shoot it with broadheads. I just trusted that Raven makes us broadhead. And this is, I mean, as a hunter, I always check everything. This hunt happened in 2.5 weeks, and I'm focusing so much time on my Matthews that the Raven's not an option. But here we are. So I'm 85 yards. He ranges them. I spin the dial to 85, put it right behind the shoulder, and pull the trigger. And I remember seeing, because it's a little bit further shot than what you would think. You have time to watch your bolt. Yeah. And I remember being able to see the white and orange on my vein. And like, you know how your brain just slows down when that happens. And I remember just looking at this bolt, and I was like, oh no. And I don't know if it kicks, if it hits something, if maybe one of the blades deployed, but it shot him probably 16 inches to the left. And he's standing facing right. So the left would be his butt. Yeah. So, and it ultimately gut shot. And I immediately just sick to my stomach. But he starts bleeding fast. I mean, really fast. And he does not like what just happened. So he kind of jogs out there a little further, and he's at 136. And I've got 1 bolt left. I've now used 66% of my weapon. And I know I can't shoot a Matthews 136 yards. So he said, man, you're going to have to put another one in him. And I didn't like that idea. I'm like, I've got 1 bolt left. This is not a good idea. And
so the issue I had with this was I was on the guides team and put another bolt in him, but I misunderstood him and thought he said 126, and he said 136. There's a big difference.
So I put my turret on 120, and it has a little slack past it, so I just go as far as I can until it stops. It's got a 0 stop and a back stop. Okay, so I'm probably like at 124 if you could imagine a line on there. And I said I can't go to 135, and he's like, dude, you'll be fine. Put it on his back. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it a little bit higher just in case. So I put it about 6 inches over his back, and I squeeze the trigger off, and this bolt flies perfect and lands underneath him about a foot. It dropped that much. Oh. It must have dropped, 3 foot probably, just that extra 10 or 15 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, just
at that distance.
It might not even have stuck him, honestly. I mean, it probably would have. I mean, I'm talking it has lost everything and just hits dirt. And I'm disgusted. And I'm just watching this bull kind of walk off, and they walk just like this. I mean, and you can tell he's hurt, but at the same time, that's how they walk even when they're on a regular day. So,
right.
And he was like, dude, you're fine. He's going to die. You're good. He's like, and I didn't know this at the time, but they're not like an elk. You shoot an elk and they run a couple miles or at least a few hundred yards. Their elk just have a will to survive. Moose is like, I don't know what that is, but I'm too big, and I'm just going to kind of walk over here and try to figure out what's going on. So he walks probably a couple hundred yards, or maybe 100 yards probably, I don't know, into another pocket that's kind of up on an elevated spot, kind of where the mountain breaks into the deadfall.
What time of the day was it?
So I shot him at 46 a.m.
Oh, you have all day.
Exactly. What? If you want to know exactly.
Yeah.
I've watched the videos.
46.
I've watched it.
I was at about 7:46.
and a half.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You got all day.
yeah, and that's good. And Larry and I were talking earlier. Man, I was telling him the best advice I could ever give a hunter, especially in the West, when you can use glass, is to never take eyes off an animal if you can. So, and we'll get to that and talking about a mule deer hunt.
So are you scrambling to find ammo?
So yeah, we have kind of made a little day camp. In a sense, we're just going to stay right here. We're going to watch him. He's still just standing. He's not feeling good forever. He just stands there and his head kind of wobbles. And so the guide's like, hey, the truck's not too far. I'm going to run back and get more bolts. Because I told him there's more bolts in the truck. I mean, we could do that. And I'm taking my broadheads off my regular bow and putting. So when he gets back, we put these new broadheads that I definitely haven't shot those. I mean, I don't know how they'll fly.
That's so fun.
I mean, it's my most unprepared hunt ever, but at the same time, I was prepared for how my plan was. You never prepare for the opposite plan, right? So he comes back with some bolts. I put broadheads off my Matthews in there, and we just keep eyes on him the whole time. Even and I say the whole time, we're there all day long. No service, which was a blessing. Larry and I just got to actually enjoy just being out there. And our phones,
I know what you mean.
Our phones just.
I have a video of a guy sleeping. You know,
I have 3
think
videos of a guy
somebody-
sleeping.
Do you think somebody would go to sleep after shooting a big
Did he go?
Adrenaline.
And it's still
Adrenaline
standing there?
Adrenaline dump?
It's still
Adrenaline.
standing there?
I've got several videos of another guy sleeping. So, and we didn't have a mattress out there either, so he wasn't getting his princess sleep.
Obviously, he's telling the story, but I got to go back and say that even as large as these animals are, and we talk about keeping eyes on an animal, he goes and gets in some timber, and we can't hardly.
They can
see
disappear
him.
this
He
fast.
just disappeared.
And I'm
I
talking-
was so scared that he was going to do like an elk and just I'm going to go over the hill. And
Yeah.
I'm like, he's got shot.
And they know.
He's
I
not
mean,
going to bleed, or he's not bleeding a lot. I've
right?
got
He bled
good
for a little bit,
glass.
then stopped bleeding. I should have
Yeah.
said that.
And so I'm like, there's not going to be a way to trail this thing.
Right.
And so we just did a really good job of slipping through the timber and kind of keeping an eye on him. And we had the wind. The wind just stayed in our favor.
It was a
so
good day
well.
for sure.
And so he stands for an hour and a half.
Probably,
maybe.
yeah. And finally beds down. And like I said, even when you're behind glass, it's one thing to kind of be looking like, I think that's him, but you're behind glass watching this moose walk around and then still just disappear. You're like, dude, how did he he just went behind this tree. The tree's this wide, and it's like he went to another dimension. So we would move on down and get a different angle on him. There he is, found him again. Well, he beds down, he stands up, he beds down, he stands up, he beds down. And this lasted
The whole time, we're 250 yards
Yeah.
probably from him. And I'm thinking,
he knows we're over there, but doesn't at the same time doesn't really know. Like he just knows something over there happened.
gut shot deer is going to go to water, right?
Yeah, that's
And
what I
so-
was going to ask.
So he's up on this elevation, and we're down by the creek. And so the whole time I'm thinking, I'm
might come over
hoping, I
here.
guess I'm more praying that he comes over to the creek and we get to put him down.
Yeah.
Because you know how it is whitetail hunting. You gut shoot something, you give it 12 hours. That's just rule of thumb you should always live by. And so anyway, he gets up again and he stands forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a buddy at the time that was sleeping in this period of time. I can't remember his name.
He was a really cool guy.
And the guy left us.
Yeah, he left to go get my truck because he
yeah.
was pretty confident.
What?
He was pretty confident that
That's
he
crazy.
knew his Jeep wasn't big enough to, if we apprehended this thing, to get it in there. So he's like, I'm gonna go get your truck. He drives back to the lodge or the barn, and
So
we're there by ourselves.
I'm playing this game in my head. How hurt is he? This dude's just standing. I mean, we timed him. By now it's noon.
Oh my
And he
gosh!
stands from like noon till 1:30. And I just watch him stand.
in one
Finally-
spot, one position,
one
looking
position.
one way.
And so finally, he goes over by these trees where he looks like he's going to go into the timber, and he lays down. Well, not saying I'm small-minded, but I'm thinking, why did he lay down there in the opening, kind of in the sun, next to these burnt-down timber? It made no sense to me. I'm like, he should be wanting to come to water. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So
real quick before you keep going, and you mentioned earlier, you were filming.
Yes.
You got all this?
Yes.
pretty much all of it. Yeah, I think that it's. So I even done some.
awesome.
I even done some B-roll before. I mean, a lot of people go back and do B-roll after the hunt. I actually feel myself checking the mailbox, and one time it wasn't in there, and I closed it back. Another time I opened it, and the tag. So
That's awesome.
I'm telling you, up here, I'm bringing a moose home. Like before this hunt ever really started, and I knew like this is a hunt of a lifetime, and hopefully my kids will get to watch this one day. And I'm not a very good editor, but eventually I'll get something put together.
So when he shot and hit the moose, so I was filming, so I didn't get to see where the shot hit. So then I put the
those crossbows, man, they're hard to see anyway.
So I put my, I've got my bino harness on. I put my phone right here, and then I pick up my binos. And the moose, when he shot it, had went over this way, and I see no exit. So I know he's hitting, but I don't know where. So then finally, when the moose turns back around, I see this, hole, right here, and he doesn't know this, and he probably doesn't feel like me, but I'm not the best shot ever, and so I can tell you that the top 3 deer I've shot with my bow, I have pretty much shot about the same spot, unfortunately, and time has always been on my
spleen, liver, kidney, something.
As always, because I've just screwed up, and you shoot a big animal and you just get nervous. But anyway, long story short, he's nervous as all get out, but I'm like, that moose will die. Yeah. All we've got to do is you didn't shoot him in the shoulder, you didn't shoot him in the a muscle.
Yeah,
brisket.
He's fatally wounded. It's just going to take time.
Right.
Yeah.
So we the guide's now back. I'm with my truck, and he said, "What do you guys think?" I mean, it's probably 1 now, maybe 1:30.
Yeah, I'll back up. Chaz and I had kind of made an agreement that we weren't going to go after him till 5 o'clock.
Yep.
So we figured 10 hours.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't. I mean, we want to. It's the worst thing in the world to have to see an animal suffer.
Terrible.
Yeah.
But it's another thing to go
lose
up
it
there
and never
he jumps
recover.
up and never recovering,
And then completely waste him.
And I have a theory about that even on some of our laws, whereas on the recovering of an animal like that, how far do we let this go? And I don't know on this particular animal what would have happened, but if we were whitetail hunting and I wound an animal and I screw up and I don't recover him, I can go back out there the next day if I want to by law, and I can shoot another one. I can wound him. Then I can shoot another one. I can shoot another one. I can shoot another one. And I don't like that idea. I'm not saying that people don't do it. I wounded a deer last year in Kansas that I never recovered. But what I'm getting at is we want to make sure that animal is recovered.
Absolutely.
So,
There's a lot of, I watch YouTube, videos all the time, get ideas for our videos and stuff. And there's a lot of guys that I watch that go out west and they wound an animal and they don't find it. They'll still notch tag.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just out of respect. Like I'm not gonna go out.
I think that is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I do.
Yeah. So now the guide's back. He has bedded down. He's gotten up. He's bedded down. He was gone for a solid hour and a half, probably. The guide.
I think he's gone longer than that.
Maybe 2.5 hours. So, in which Laramy and I visited. We got a chance to. I mean, you got eyes on your bull of a lifetime while you're still sitting here trying to make the best of it, and it's deep down. I'm just sick to my stomach. I feel like a failure. I feel like any hunter out there that's ever gut shot or wounded an animal. And so the only good thing is we have eyes on him. Like a lot of guys go home that night and don't know what's going to happen tomorrow morning.
Sleepless.
Yeah, so
night.
I was blessed at the same time, just disgusted, right? So we at this point the guide's back and he brings Nate with him, who's a great hunter. That's the guy that drew the superfecta, the trifecta tag. Yeah, and we're visiting. We're kind of all putting your 2 cents together and what's the best thing? What can we do here? And the guide, I think I think he probably just knows moose more than we do. So he knows that, he knows you can get up close to these things and get a second shot. They're too big. They're hurt. They're ready to lay down and die. And Laramy and I are just like elk, whitetail. This is not a good idea. Like, give him 10 more hours. Give him 20 more days. So he's. I think we can go ahead and go over there and sneak up on him and put one in him. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. He's a miniature moose. We do whatever you want. And so let's just kind of watch him. But at this time, he beds down behind a tree, and I noticed he's laying down, but his head is bent completely backwards. And I'm trying to figure out like what position he's in. We're kind of watching with glass, and of course they're just so dark, and he's laying in grass this tall.
And how far are you?
We're probably 250 yards away from him. He's past. We're in this timber line. He is past a meadow up to where falling timber or dead timber starts.
So at this point, are you trying to grab the Matthews or?
So he had already packed it back to the truck. Believe me,
talked about that.
believe me. If I'd have known this was going to go down like it did, 100% would have done that. Then I took a picture with it. No. So we decide at probably 2:45. He hasn't moved his head in a long time. It's been probably an hour that his head's been. Now he'll flick his ear. You'll see him flick his ear sometimes, but his head's still turned completely back, like nose in the dirt. So we knew he's hurt. He's big time wounded. And the guide, and bless his heart, he was all about just not letting this guy suffer. And I understood. I mean, on the flip side of it though, it's like, man, it's either take him home or not, possibly. So
Yeah.
we talked it all a little bit. The guide kind of wanted to go this way and get in the deadfall timber and kind of walk the timber line to him. And Laramy and Nate were both kind of in agreement to going out past the meadow where we initially parked for that morning, going back, tracking across the creek, and come up down on top of them. I'm over here like, whatever you guys think, because I'm just still sick. I don't even really want to think about how we're going to do this or how it could potentially go down for the worst. So we go to the right and we get a little ways out, and man, I feel like he's now starting moving his head, and he knows something's not right.
Oh man.
And I was like, man, this is not a good idea. Let's
You're
go back.
getting sick.
So we immediately go back to Laramy and them, and Larry's like, what are you doing? I was like, man, he's already moving his head. He knows something's not right. Even though he was turned away, it's like those eyeballs, they're like a magnifying glass on a submarine. They're just looking around,
Yeah.
And
That's funny.
and I tell Laramy, I think the best opportunity is really to go this way. And so we talk it out a little more, and Laramy's like, man, I don't agree with that, and I don't think you should. And luckily the problem was, I think we wanted to kind of be, I don't want to say lazy, but it looked easier just to go down here a little bit and walk across. But what we really need to do is just go way down there and then walk across and then come way back.
Yeah, at this point, I didn't care if they walked a mile.
Right. But in your head, you're just like, if we just kind of get outside, out of mind. But the problem is you're not.
Because I was going to stay there and keep eyes on him.
Yeah. So we left him back, which is a great plan for, especially big game. If you can keep somebody with eyes on an animal.
Yeah.
Just to make sure.
We
How
get
did
hand
you- how was
signals,
you-
like,
okay.
if he
Yeah, we
jumps up,
talked about like 2 hand signals to stop. One's, we had all these signals that we
and
were
then I
gonna do.
wanted to make sure, because the way that,
So you'd still be able
Yeah,
to
I kept eyes on him. The guide kept eyes on the bull that we were trying to find, and he kept eyes directly on the bull.
so what my game plan here is that if this bull, when the way they're going to come in, they've got the wind,
Yeah.
and he's looking away from them. So at any point, if he turns where he's looking at where they're going to come from, I'm going to stop him.
Yep.
And then we'll get another game plan or wait. Or if he stands up and moves, I can stop him, because the problem is when you go walk a mile out of your way and you don't have eyes on him, you don't know what that animal's done.
Right.
And they can't come walking up on, because where they were going to come to was where he would walk back and forth to.
This
So I didn't
little
want
pocket.
him to walk back to that pocket and then walk right up on it.
Right, not know
So
it. Yeah. So he kept eyes on him. Nate was there with Laramy as well, kind of kept eyes on us with Laramy. I'm keeping eyes on the guide. Every step he's making, I'm making a step, and we've walked, probably a half mile down and maybe a quarter mile across and a half mile back. Like, we have gotten out of sight, out of mind, out of picture, and prepared completely to make the sneak on him.
That's so weird to me, because I just think of where I go elk hunting, and there is no way that I could keep eyes on somebody in the stuff. But
Yeah, the meadow
it's
helped
just-
us for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
and we're kind of tucked in the timber. Like, it took me a little bit to figure out where he even was. It's weird, like when you're there, like, oh, just remember that tree and all. Yeah, I mean, you don't.
Yeah, it looks different from
Yeah.
the other side,
what do you
doesn't it?
think the meadow was like 400 or 500
Yeah, I was going to
acres?
say, guess like 500 acres probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So I mean, the guy doesn't even know where Laramy's at. He said, "Have you found them yet?" And I'm looking and looking. I said, "Okay." I said, and what's crazy, I knew they're on what I thought was in that little peninsula, but it's really not. Like, from the other perspective, it took me a little bit to find him. And he gives us a sign, like, keep going, or whatever the sign was. And I said, he says we're good, keep going. So we sneak up, and we're now probably 100 yards away from the bull moose, and he is back to that same position with his head turned all the way back. And at this time, I think he's laying on his left side. But then soon to find out later, he is actually on his stomach with his head laid back. But it looks like he was on his side from the other perspective until we get on this side of him. I can't see his actual feet. They're all underneath him. So the guide's starting to get things ready. I've got my bow cocked already, and I've got a bolt in with one of my just regular broadheads, which I'm thinking, inside 50 yards will be fine. It's a fixed broadhead. I was scared that there'd be a lot of drift on a 450 feet per second bow.
Same grain.
Yep, they're both 100 grain. We're good there, and I probably should have been shooting 125s maybe, but we're not. So, but anyways, I'm taking a step when he takes a step, and we're at 80, and bull's not moved his head at all. I'm like, this is good. So we get. I put my dial on 80, Anytime that, and I tried to be really cognitive in thinking about this. Anytime he would range, I'd turn. He'd say he's 75, and I'd just 75. He's 65, 65. So we get to 65, and he'd set up, and then, the bull was still laying there. He's like, man, I think we're good. Let's go ahead and go 5 more steps up. So we go 5 steps, I'd move to 60. Go 5 more steps, I move to 55. And I'm just constantly like, whatever he's saying, 43, I put it on 43. Like,
And you can see this?
yep.
And are you
actually
filming it?
this.
Okay.
Yeah, and I am too. So I have the same Sitka harness Laramy's talking about for the binos. There's a pocket in the backside. When I'm shed hunting, I keep my Glock in there just for
It
shooting.
almost reminds you of like when you see a police officer with a body cam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That phone will just go right in
It just
there.
it fits right in there, and the
It'll
camera
just sit
lenses
there like that.
lenses
So
are
while
enough
you're
to stay out.
glassing,
Yeah.
you can still have it.
Yeah, so I've got mine on 0.5 where I've kind of got a good little view. I'm filming, I think it was like a 12 or 13 minute video of us walking, and it's pretty cool. And Laramy's filming from a distance, watching me walk across. And so we get to 40, we get to 35. He said, man, we're going to kill him right here. He's starting to flip his ears a little bit. Things are kind of a little nerve wracking. He's kind of wanting to look up. I mean, he's in a bad shape. So at 35, I put it on him, get rested, and I said, man, there's a lot of grass in the way because he's laying in 2 foot tall grass.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're like, I'm gonna walk over and just shoot him, right? It's a little different when you get there. Yeah. Things aren't going exactly like you planned, a mile ago. So we look back at Laramy. He's we're still good. I mean, we can obviously see him, but we're kind of like hit and miss seeing him because there's so much grass. And he said, let's go a little further. So we go to 25, and I put it on 25. And I get set up, and there's these sticks, like terrible spot, just the only sticks in the meadow, and they're right in his vitals. And I said, dude, I don't want to injure him again. Like, let's move over. So we move over and up, and now we're at 21 yards. I put it on 20, and I shoot him, directly in the heart. And he stands up, and awful noises that come with the lungs and the heart and the bleeding. And I hurry and cock one more time. I hand my phone to him. I said, go ahead and film this last shot. And he's standing there. He's not doing good. He's all over the place, and blood is pouring out of him. Just like a gallon of milk, just pouring out. And I put one more in him, and by this time you can hear all the exit noise and not to get graphic, but anyways, he goes down right there. Man, a lot of emotions. Golly, so many. But it's now 2:45. I think so. Time I or 2:35, something like that. I finally got to finish him, and me and the guide are high fiving. I'm looking back at Laramy. We're doing big thumbs up. A couple hundred yards apart. And
Did you come running?
Well, I really wanted to film Chaz walking up on him.
Yeah.
And so they actually came back to us before they even went to him.
We just wanted to give him a minute.
We also wanted to give him a minute to die.
It was pretty graphic sounding
yeah.
when he was dying. So we walked back down the meadow, but kind of downhill to where they're at. And me and the guides hugged already. We've high five. We've done it all. I've a little tear shed. It's just like a hunt of a lifetime, man. Like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Part of me like wanted to go apologize to the moose. Like, I'm so sorry it took us this long to get you killed. Man. But I was happy. Like, I was proud as punch to have it.
And I'll stop right here and say this for a second. You're talking about a guy who had open heart surgery in 23.
I was wanting to say that.
And so I asked him, a little bit later on, I said, did you think that you could be packing out a moose or on a moose hunt in Colorado after what you'd been through?
No.
And so, I almost get emotional.
Yeah.
Just
Absolutely.
thinking
I'm
about
about to.
that, what a blessing.
I'm very blessed.
So,
Yeah, this open heart surgery he talks about, just real quick, not to digress, but I had a prosthetic valve put in my aortic valve, and open heart surgery to me prior to April of 2023 just meant they cut your chest open, right?
Right.
Well, not this open heart surgery. They cut your chest open, cut your heart out of your chest, cut your heart in half, cut the old valve out while you're on a bypass machine. It's a 5 hour procedure. Bypass machine for 45 minutes or so, and your heart is away from your body. And they cut the heart directly in half, put a prosthetic valve in, placed the heart back in the body. And the cool thing about how God made it is whatever rhythm your heart is at when it's killed for a minute, when it's stopped, is exactly where it picks back up when they start the heart back. So they simply flip.
Wow.
If everything goes good, which it did, they simply just flip the heart. And if it's at the top of your heart like this, if it's right here, when they flip it, it just starts going right back where it was.
Unbelievable.
The heart never forgets. That's a God deal, right? So yeah, but like he's saying, and it took me 7 weeks, probably 6 weeks to recover. And I nearly had to learn how to walk again. Of course, the surgeon's like, I didn't work on your legs, just your heart. I'm like, yeah, it's easy for you to say. I'm still trying to figure out how to get out of bed. Yeah. But yeah, who'd have thought 2 years later, I'm a blessed man to be packing out.
I was just thinking, like,
Shiras moose.
God's obviously not done.
Oh, I'm telling you,
know,
it's been a blessing. To be a
Like,
part
like
of.
this was a gift. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe for what's to come.
Right.
You don't know what.
Right. So during my sickness, I was really sick in 21. I learned to just, I got to teach on it. I got to preach a message on it. But my little motto was to tell God, thank you for an opportunity to be sick, because it humbled me. It redirected me. It strengthened me. It took my worry away. I used to worry about everything. I don't worry about anything anymore. Like if I went through that, I promise you everything else is going to be good. So yeah, what an opportunity. I'd tell them all the time, thank you for an opportunity to be sick. And that's how my perspective was. So yeah, so now I've made it back to Laramy. We're hugging, high fiving, and I don't even know Nate at all. And I'm like high fiving this dude. Like,
It's like
nice
you
to
knew
meet
him
you.
forever.
Yeah, haven't had service all day.
Can we
It's
just
been-
become best friends?
yeah.
Nate was that guy. He literally
Oh, so
walks
cool.
up, and I'm like, and that's the cool thing about hunting is I didn't know this guy from Adam, and while they're on their adventure, like I think maybe
Laramy's gonna be in his wedding.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah.
Nate was
So,
cool, man. He looked like you're like, he's not
Stone
doing
Cold
it
killer.
he's not doing it for the gram. I mean, he is a killer.
Look like Matt Petty.
Yeah, this guy was
He looks like who?
a friend of ours named Matt Petty that goose hunts. He doesn't do it for Facebook or anything.
Yeah.
This guy was there to kill 3 animals and go back home and pour some more concrete. Like he's a man's man, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm high fiving Nate. Laramy and I are hugging, and man, what an opportunity. So Cody looks at me and said, "Well, you ready to go put hands on this thing?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." So we take walking off, and my brother-in-law John Williams told me this one time. He said, "Have you ever thought about when you kill an animal, specifically a deer? I know waterfowl have been touched at times when they're banded, but he's like, when you go to grab the horns of that deer or whatever the animal is, you're the first human to ever touch them."
Yeah.
Oh man,
It's a cool thought.
I've never thought of that.
Yeah.
That is.
So we're walking across this meadow, and Cody's about 5 steps ahead of me. And I'm like, I don't have very many bolts left, but if you touch that thing before I do, like, you're getting he's like, I'm like, why is he so far ahead of me? And I'm kind of catching up, like, and I'm thinking, like, as a guy, he's probably gonna go make sure he's like, dead, and all I think was like, don't touch this thing until I get to put hands on it. But we get to the animal, and he stops and looks over at me. He says, "Go ahead," and I go up, and I'm filming with my holster. I kind of give him the old kick that you want to make sure you don't get up riding this guy out of here. And man, he's dead as a doorknob or doornail, and I put my hands on this giant moose, and wow, that's when the really, man, the emotions just were. It was awesome, man. And I've got to see Laramy do it with some great bulls and great deer, and we've both killed our fair share of good bucks, and he's killed way more than I have, but. I was in the driver's seat. I mean, that's my best friend's my co-pilot, and we're in the middle of nowhere with the best guide in the world and the coolest hunter ever.
Probably the most beautiful country. A lot of times my elk hunts have been in High Plains Desert, and we're in the most beautiful country you can be in.
I mean,
I've never been. I want to go so bad.
It's a bucket list hunt. I mean,
awesome.
It was awesome. So we got hands on him, and we done the whole video. Got the Benchmade knife out, and I'm notching my tag, and we tried to do. I tried to do all the B-roll stuff as good as possible. I thought my boys would love to watch this one day. I mean, I'll never get to do this again, right?
Yeah.
Maybe at least till next year. No. But so I've got hands on him. Man, it's real now, and here we go. Start working. So thinking about the pack out was pretty simple. I mean, he had parked my truck in a different location, which was pretty close to where we were glassing from, 3/4 of a mile maybe, and we start. I say we. I mean.
So I got to stop him right there. So he had already told me this. So because of his heart surgery, he's on blood thinner for the rest of his life, basically, because of this valve.
Yeah.
And so he's told me, he's like, and I never had thought about it, but of course he thought about it. He's like, if I get cut up there, I'll likely bleed to death. So he's like, you've got to, help me skin this thing. And I'm like, hey. And so I was like, hey, Cody, just listen. I'll help you cut it up. Chaz is going to kind of just be here to help us move a leg or this or that. And so anyway, that kind of relates back to the whole heart surgery deal to me, like where I kind of get emotional about it, is because I'm able to be there to help him in a situation where, I mean, he could have took anybody else, but he chose to take me and help him harvest this animal, help him cut this animal up, pack this thing out. And I call myself the pack mule, because I'm I'm 100% in.
It was a man, it was a blessing to be a part of. But and I had told Cody that too. Like even right after we shot, I was like, and then Laramie's probably thinking when I asked him, like, hey, are you gonna be okay? Like helping? I mean, I don't know. I mean, are we 5 miles from town or are we 200 miles from town? I don't know where we're going. So, I'm thinking if I were to nick my, getting up in there, I thought we were going to gut this thing because you got stuff here, but you just roll those over and do what you can with them where they're at. So
Move that thing.
Oh yeah.
4 of us could barely even get his head in a position to take a picture with it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and I do got to back up and say one more thing. So back to whitetail hunting or when you gut shoot something. So the whole time, I got to mind you, he's up on the side of this knoll. I couldn't figure out why he went and laid down there. Well, the reason he went and laid down over there, he was laying in water.
Yeah.
He was laying in about 6 inches of water.
You just couldn't see it because of all
Just
the
couldn't
grass.
see
Right. So when they're
it
cleaning,
totally made sense then of why he didn't come down to the creek.
Yeah, didn't need it, yeah.
And why he left the trees to go over there.
yeah, they're cleaning this animal, and I said, boys, I see now why his face is in the ground. It's just like there's 6 inches of water over there. His nose was that's what he was doing, was trying to get a drink from where that angle was. I'm sure he was fever or whatever was happening.
Yeah.
So
And then when he talks about, the way he was up on his legs, I shot a deer in 2016. The biggest deer I've ever shot in my life. And I basically misrange him a little bit. He goes to trot off and I shoot and I make that shot. And I get to watch him walk out into a field, stand by a tree, and then walk off into a holler. And so I waited, shot him at 7:30. I think I go in at 5, and when I drop off the holler, he's right where he went in, and he's still alive. And he's standing on his haunches, but he's so sore and weak and or sick from that. And I hate that. Like I hate that. But if I had went in there at noon, he had been gone.
Never know.
Me and Logan have a video like that of a buck that I killed 2 years ago.
Crazy.
Is a really good 10-point, and I thought I made a good shot. I mean, it was getting late, getting a little dark.
The video looked good.
The video looked good. Like, I mean, that's one thing about video in your house. You can always go back and look at those shots. And I came over here after I shot him. The bad thing was there was a rainstorm like 15 minutes after I shot him.
always.
And I found blood for a little ways, and then, Bobby came and helped me, and I found blood for a ways, and the rainstorm came, washed it all away. I came over to Logan's. We looked at the shot. We're like, man, that looks good.
Yeah.
It ended up being back.
Just a little bit back.
Just a little bit back. Enough back.
Yeah.
And I had been watching this buck. So I live just 5 miles this way, and I've got 44 acres, and there's a big cutout in front of my house. And I would watch him and this other big buck every single night, and I knew exactly where that buck bedded every night.
Yeah.
And I told Logan,
Yeah.
like, we went the way that he ran, and we looked. There's no blood. Didn't see him anywhere. This is the next morning.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm not going to go after him tonight. And I told Logan, I was like, he beds right there. And we're walking to where I told Logan exact spot where he beds. And he jumps up 5 feet away from me.
Yeah. And I screwed it up bad. I had a camera rolling the whole time, facing Chase as he's walking in front of me. And right before the deer jumps up, I pan the camera to the right. The deer jumps up and runs, and Chase goes, "There he goes!" And by the time I get back, the deer's gone.
Oh man, never fails.
He didn't go very far though.
No.
He laid back.
But he
down.
was on
I
his
got him.
haunches, just like
Yeah.
you were talking about, and just
So did you ever, with this moose, did you ever like check to see like what you got on the first shot?
as far as going back and looking at film.
I mean, you said you didn't. Well, you said you didn't gut him. I like to I always like to look and see what I hit.
No,
whenever
we
I gut a
didn't.
deer.
And it didn't.
We actually got to recover 2 bolts.
2 bolts, yeah,
So we recovered 2. You shot him 3 times?
3 times.
We recovered 2 bolts.
The first shot that gut shot him exited, and the other 2 at point blank.
So what are you thinking, liver?
I don't. There was definitely a little bit of a gut sack there, but he was in an angle that I think was okay. I mean,
I
it's easy
thought
to
he
say
was-
that now. 'Cause
I
he's-
thought he was angled away enough from my perspective that not only did he gut shoot him, but he might have got some good stuff.
yeah.
You know, but
Maybe
it was
like
a little
backside
lower.
one lung.
Right.
Yeah, something. But it was hard. You know, it's hard. There's such a large animal. you
Yeah.
know, and so
So big.
yeah.
Did you study the
Anatomy.
anatomy?
As much as I could, I did, and
Yeah.
I realized that I was shooting at a heart about the size of a deep freezer. So I thought, man, I can surely do this. No, but wow, how big? So, Shiras moose, and there's probably some Shiras professional guy out there going to listen to this, but Shiras moose, our guide told us, typically are anywhere from 800 to 1,000 pounds on the hoof, and Cody said this is by far the biggest bodied bull I've ever saw. And he thinks it was probably around 1,200. And it makes sense because 4 guys can't even hardly move his head around to get a good picture. That's why my pictures aren't the greatest. I mean, I've got them with me, but
Yeah.
What does a hindquarter?
that's what I was going to get at. So the guide packed the hindquarters. I packed the shoulders. Laramy packed. We made 3 trips apiece. Laramy packed all like the neck, the loins, the inners, and then he packed the hide. Which the hide was, man, everything weighed a lot. But I would say if I had just kind of ballpark guess, because I moved most of the meat when they were cutting, I kept moving it to like dry spots and sacking them, and I would say the shoulders probably weighed anywhere from 70 to 80 pounds, and the hindquarters probably anywhere from 85 to 95 pounds. Hindquarters weren't a whole lot heavier because these shoulders are so tall.
yeah.
I think those hindquarters weighed like a 125.
And they
I
could
think
have.
those shoulders weighed like 100.
That very well could have.
Now, I
mean,
don't know what Sam meant, but Sam's killed. Like he's lost track.
Yeah, that's
of
what he told me.
How many
Yeah.
moose he's killed? But he said that the hindquarters weigh 250 pounds, and maybe he means both of them together.
Now he is talking about a
Yukon
moose.
or Alaskan graders.
So
or
those
whatever.
moose will get up to like 1,600 pounds.
Okay.
That's
So a
how-
Shiras is about 2/3 the size of those, but still, I mean, if that's the
Okay.
case, then do these weigh 150? I don't know. They're heavy.
Yeah.
And they're so awkward.
Okay.
I mean, you got blood all over you, and
Yeah.
So to put it in perspective, in 2011, I went on
this
my
is what I was
first.
when I said earlier. He'll talk about the ice chest. Yeah,
I went on my first elk hunt with my wife's uncle, who's now 88 or 89 years old, and he killed a deer with the bow 2 years ago with me in Kansas. That's a whole other
awesome.
story. Like a 150 some inch deer out of my tree stand shooting left-handed because the ladder stand I put up for him wasn't good enough. So anyway, awesome guy. But I killed this elk in 2011, my first bow kill. I'm so excited. And he gives me this huge white ice chest. And I don't know how big it is, but it's bigger than this table. And so I could call back a whole elk in it. And every elk I think I've killed has been held back in this white ice chest. Now the lids are broke off. We have to ratchet strap it down.
it still works.
And so to give you a perspective how big this moose is, we can't even get the front shoulders in there.
Oh gosh.
So so my green ice chest is where we wound up putting the shoulders. I was out there late trying to, or I think it was early morning the next day, trying to figure out where everything was going to go.
We end up having to cut the shoulders off.
The inside dimensions of the green ice chest, which is my big one, it's a little bit smaller than his white one, was 39 inches. And I had to cut 13 inches off of each shoulder, which is just like the shank or the hock, or whatever. Nothing really good down there.
You
But
can think if you go at the elbow and you take them off in the field where you would normally pack an elk out. And no, those shoulders were, I mean,
took
unbelievable.
30, yeah, I mean, it took 13 inches off just to get it in there. So we got both shoulders in the big green ice chest, which is as wide as this table probably. And then we got my 45 Yeti. We got, let's see, all his neck meat and I think a few cuts off of a hindquarter. Mm-hmm. And then the big white ice chest that he's talking about that fit a full elk, we got one full hindquarter, most of the other deboned hindquarter, and a cape.
Yeah.
So with 3 large ice chests, I'm talking all we can do to even get ice in them. Like,
Yeah.
wild. I mean, wow, what a lot of meat. So,
Right.
And then you got the head, of course.
Just a beautiful animal, though. I mean, just how great it was to be able to, God put us on this earth with such a creature.
Yeah.
You know.
So the first 2 packs they're a little more brutal, if you will. I mean, they're not, wasn't impossible, but on the 3rd pack was my opportunity to pack out the head and the horns. You know,
Right.
I told Laramy,
How far were you from the truck?
probably 3/4 of a mile, maybe a little further. I don't know, probably about that.
But not a bad.
No, I mean it wasn't bad at all. Of course, you're never really in shape to carry a 80 or 90 pound anything around, but I mean it wasn't bad at all.
The guide and I've been told this before. He tells me, he said, we don't know where the truck's at. We're walking back, the first time.
Because he drove the truck back to us.
Because he drove
We
the
didn't know
truck
where
back.
it
And so,
was parked.
we got to walk through. We walked through the meadow, down, up through a creek, and then back up. And he said, the truck's only up there about 50 yards. So me being me, I'm like, one yard. Or, I'm counting my steps. I get to 55 steps, and I don't see the truck. And I'm like, man, his 50 yards is a little off. I quit
That's the
counting, but
worst
then-
feeling ever when
and
you
then
don't
we
know
gotta
where you're going.
then we're going uphill, and then finally I see the truck. But it's
So did you get the classic B-roll with that thing?
Oh
on his
yeah.
back?
Oh, yeah.
And I told him when we strapped that to my Sitka, we both have the Sitka 6200 mountain haulers, which are phenomenal packs. When I strapped that to him, I said, carrying those shoulders or whatever wasn't the best thing ever. I wouldn't care if that head weighed 5,000 pounds. Like, it's going on my back, and I'm walking to the truck.
going on.
Because that's the field and stream picture you look at growing up as a kid. It was like I couldn't wait to have this. And then I got to thinking like, oh, we get to walk across this pretty little meadow and be out in the open, and then you go into timber and you're walking in there like this.
Yeah,
So-
no wonder
Bunch
they
of
do
down
that with their
Down,
head.
yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
He sounded like a moose walking through the timber. The
yeah,
brush is
hitting and
cracking.
cracking, and I was having them help me get it, get the limbs off. But Shiras, I was doing a little bit of research after the hunt because I finally got time to really sit down and like think about this hunt that's already actually happened because it all happened so fast. But I've done a little research. A good Shiras bull, anywhere from 30 to 40 inches wide, is a great bull. Over 40 inches is considered a trophy, especially in Wyoming. And this bull here was 51 inches wide. So
Dang.
yeah, I mean, and I didn't know. I mean, because you see these Yukon moose like in movies and stuff growing up, and I was like, "Is this a good bull?" And that guy was like, "You have no idea how big this bull is." And I'm like, "It is good." And he's like, "Yes."
So I asked him, I said, how wide do you think he is? He said he's 45 inches. And the whole time I'm like, if he's 45 inches, he's got to be 50 inches, because he was just ginormous. But I will go back and say this: when we were cleaning him, obviously not everybody gets to touch a moose. So like I've cleaned elk and I've cleaned deer and I've cleaned all these animals, but their hide was so thick.
Unreal.
Unbelievable thick, and how long their hair was. And then below their hair is probably 4 inches
Yeah,
long.
he said 5 to 6 inches on the neck right here.
And then he's gray underneath. Mm-hmm. He's completely gray underneath. I thought that was just so cool. It was not, I'm not going to say it was like hog hair, but it
Real
it
coarse
was,
like
it was
that.
a
Oh,
real
really?
coarse hair.
Really?
Yeah, but a soft on the outside, but like a coarse on the inside. I don't know how to explain it.
Like big
Big
stems or
old
trunks
stems.
of the hair. Yeah.
I mean, like, so this is kind of cool. Like, I have taken my dad, basically, I don't know if I stole it or just took my dad's knife from him and that he went on all his elk hunts with. So
Western.
I made sure this knife went and cleaned this moose.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
my dad had a little steel, and so I probably sharpened it 8-10
Yeah,
times.
probably, yeah.
And thank God I had it. And but I just don't leave. I don't leave home. That knife means so much to me because it was my dad's, and the blade's getting kind of wore down where it's been sharpened so much. And it's a Western knife, and it has a saw blade on it too. But the saw blade I almost can't use because my dad has just almost wore out the saw on it,
The teeth, yeah.
And so that was
Got a lot of stories behind
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah. So it was awesome to use my dad's that knife on that hunt. It's just unbelievable. I hope and I pray that when I'm 80 years old, if I'm still able to be out there, that knife is still with me.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Man, what a hunt though! What an opportunity.
Pass it on to you.
Yeah.
So, is he going on the wall in L&L or in
Yeah.
your house?
I mean, with all due respect, unfortunately, he'll be at L&L. I want to look at him every day at home, but I don't have the room for him. Our add-on of our master bedroom has 9 foot tall, ceilings, but
down here.
it's still not tall enough.
Yeah, there's no way it's going to fit in my house
big,
either.
so yeah, he's
So let's see if we can get him on camera. But
Okay.
before I do, I want to it's going to be weird for a second on the just the audio, but I just want to turn that camera on so we can try to get it.
okay.
All right,
Yeah.
just give me just 1 second.
You want to just hang out here?
Just stay right there.
Man. So, I don't know if you know this, but how do you? I mean, I don't even know how they score.
Yeah. So there we had
What is he?
So we rough scored him today. Chance Tudor, one of our guys that work at the store, and one of Laramy and I's best friends. Phenomenal guy, great outdoorsman.
I bought a gun from him.
Yeah, so he owns a little shout out here. He owns Brush Creek Skull Mounts.
Yeah, and he did.
Yeah, so I told him, I said, hey, it's going to the podcast. I think they're going to do a video podcast. He's like, well, we can't take it looking like that. Let's get it cleaned up. So he took it home and got it whitened up. Of course, it's not staying like this. I'm getting it mounted.
Tell me one more time what the name is of his company.
Chance's Brush Creek Skull Mounts.
Brush Creek Skull Mounts.
Yeah. So and Chance Tudor. So
And you can bring your animals right there to L&L Outdoors.
yeah,
or
we do drop off right there.
right
Yeah.
there. So
And
it's
pick
real
up.
simple.
I actually have a couple I need.
Yeah, he does a phenomenal job.
Just look for the biggest guy there.
the biggest
sure.
country mountain looking man there. Yeah.
Yeah, the guys
And-
on Brawny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he
Let's see if we can pick it up, Chase. Just like right here, maybe. Golly! Oh my gosh! We have to maybe just bring it over here like this. Oh my gosh! Look at that.
How cool is
thing.
that, isn't it?
That is.
So we done a little rough scoring on him today. Not 100% sure. There we go.
There you go.
Not 100% sure how to do it, but I've done a little research. There's a mass measurement here at the base. There's a yoke to yoke or a valley to valley. So you go from their first valley or the bottom here to their last one.
Oh,
So
really?
It's a straight line. So what you want, and I didn't know this, or I wouldn't have shot this one. No, these. what you want is the yoke or another split up here, because then that would be considered your first one, or the outside, or whichever.
Oh,
then you would
okay.
measure from there all the way
okay, I
down,
got
all the way to this back one.
So he could
So
get an extra
you can
like
get an
16 inches.
Right.
Yeah.
8 to 10 per side, 16 to 20 inches by him just having a split up there, because that's your first, I don't know what they call them. I call it yoke or valley to the last one. So, and then you count how many points there are, which he's got 8 on one side and 7 on the other. So that's just 15 scores, or not really inches, but that's, you just score like that. So, and awards, they call it awards for Shiras is 140 plus, and Boone Crockett's 155. And today we rough scored him, and it's a green score, and I don't really know what I'm doing. I mean, I can score deer totally fine, but I don't really know how to score moose. We went down the list, explained everything, and he scored like right at 139.5. So I don't know if he'll make the awards unless hopefully I've done something a little wrong. Maybe we get an inch or two somewhere, but
We were having trouble with the scoring off.
sitting back
You follow
down.
the blood deal.
yeah,
there.
the guide
Exactly.
told us that we follow the bloodline from the yoke to the yoke, but this picture today showed us just a straight shot. So I don't really know. Like I said, I'm no professional at scoring anything, especially a Shiras, but he's definitely big, right? I mean, he's and kind of the local talk is how wide was he? I mean, it's not like what he scored. Here's like how many points is it or whatever. Of course, we all score deer and like to do that, but there it was more of how people would say how wide was it? So. With that being said, 30 to 40 is a great bull inches. Over 40 is considered a trophy bull in Shiras, and like I said, he's 51 inches wide. So I think we did good.
So we didn't have a tape measure there, so you could just see Chaz flaunching at the bit to figure out how wide he was.
Yeah,
So we
and
went down to the headquarters.
He's like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to the headquarters. Like, can I borrow a
my ice
sawzall?
chest only went to 39 inches, so we knew he was wider than that.
I said, can I borrow a sawzall and a tape measure? We need to know how wide this thing is and cut some haunches off these shoulders. So
It's crazy to think that thing was just walking the meadows like.
unreal, man.
How long ago?
I killed him on the 3rd of September. What's today? The 15th? Yeah. So
Crazy.
12 days
Less
ago.
than 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Man, it was just what a memorable hunt for sure. I mean, and that's the best thing about hunting, right? It's the memories that are made. It's the trophies that you bring home, put on the wall, they're cool too. But the memories are.
Oh yeah.
They don't. I mean,
Yeah. You know what's crazy is the deer behind you is my favorite hunt of all time. I'm gonna paint his eye socket black because I call that deer Rooster from Rooster Cogburn.
Oh yeah.
I call him Rooster because he was a 10-point for like 5 years, and he lost his eye and he turned into an 8-point. And
wow.
that's the one that I killed in the snow
Yeah.
on camera.
Yeah.
And it was
He called me and was while he was in the woods and he was telling me what happened, and I was like, "There's no freaking way that just happened."
yeah, it's crazy.
It's nuts.
I think I'm gonna remaster the video just to put it out there. It didn't get any love because we had like 400 followers when we made the
Yeah.
video.
Yeah. Now I saw you're at 102,000.
102,000.
Wow.
2,000.
Yeah.
Praise God. What a good platform, right? Because you're doing it for the right
Absolutely.
reasons. So
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
so-
I moved your mic.
That's
Sorry
right.
about
plan.
that.
Yeah,
I got one more story about a deer like that. So
Yeah.
I think I started watching this deer in 2014, and I'm going to say he was always an 8-point, and 2014 maybe he's 3.5, and I catch him daylight one day. 2015 he daylights one day out of all the cameras I have out. 2016 he daylights 1 or 2 days, and so he's almost, in my opinion, unkillable, right? And so you move on, and I think this deer got up to where he might have scored 140 inches. Not a great deer, but just I had a history with this deer. I'd watched him for 4 or 5 years, and my wife and I were hunting one evening, and we had the opportunity to kill him. And I bet he had gone downhill. He was so old, and that deer, like that deer, meant so much to me.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know, she didn't feel the same excitement that I did when she killed him, because I was just so excited because he was such a mature deer. And
Oh, yeah.
I had her do one of those pack out mounts with him, and I still
Oh,
to this
yeah.
day,
It's cool.
because I've got sheds off of him, and I just
Is that
thought
the one over by the? It's over by the
Suppressors.
suppressors.
The kiosk.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and,
cool.
Okay.
And so, I mean, probably
It's like
people
an
walk
EMT.
by and think, why'd you mount him? But it wasn't
Yeah.
that. Like he was so unkillable. I mean,
Yeah.
he was just,
Yeah.
he was so smart, and then he got him a girlfriend one night and he screwed up during
Yeah.
muzzleloader
Man.
season,
They'll get you in
Yeah.
trouble.
So,
Thinking about, I mentioned earlier about the importance, back on that moose real quick, the importance of leaving a guy back to watch. It reminds me of a hunt him and I went on. It was his mule deer hunt in New Mexico. 2000, what do we think it was? 18? Is that what we thought?
yeah, probably.
Yeah, we were trying to do some, thinking of some. Time goes by so fast. I feel like it was a couple years ago, but anyways, we got on a good mule deer, and I'll let him tell a story, and I'll kind of interrupt where I think it's important to what I'm talking about. So, tell your story about the mule deer you killed.
Do you have time, or we need
Yeah.
to? Okay.
I do.
All right.
I mean, as long as the
So I drew a New Mexico mule deer tag, and the story is we're trying to kind of like a learning deal here, because the best part of this whole thing is we go out to New Mexico, and we're in a low population of deer, but they could be some good deer. And Chaz likes to shed hunt, and so my favorite thing to do is to find a shed that is as far away as possible, and then send Chaz after
glassing?
after the
Especially
shed.
after Chaz makes a bet that I don't care how far it is. If you find it, I'll go get it.
And so we
And I'm a man of my word.
So we have set up and we're glassing, and I find this shed that is forever away. And it's just
spotting
let me
scope?
just pause him. He goes, and I was like, "Oh no!" That laugh told me like this thing is 5 years away. Is what that
Yeah.
laugh said.
so another thing about spotting scope. So I have a spotting scope and I like them, but actually, what I learned years ago, and I straight up went to Cabela's to buy me a Swarovski spotting scope, and I walk in there, and maybe I'm getting off subject, but I'm going to tell this for kind of a learning curve. I go in there and I meet this guide who is selling Swarovskis, a Swarovski guy. Just happened to be at Cabela's this day, and I'm like, "We'll buy a spotting scope," and he's like, "You don't need a spotting scope. You need some 15 by 56s." I'm like, he guided for the binos, and he guided for the Apaches and told me all these elk, and thank God I listened to him. So my wife actually buys me for my birthday this 15 by 56 Swarovski binos instead of a spotting scope. And these things are my life. And so, you don't have to carry this huge spotting scope, and
Because you're still going to have a pair of binoculars.
yeah,
on
and
you.
so and like they weigh probably 3.5 pounds, but I feel naked without them.
Yeah.
And so I can put them on a tripod, or I can hold them handheld. And anyway, long story short, I hardly am ever behind a spotter because of those binos. And sometimes it would be nice if something was 5 miles away, and you had
maybe have the
spotter
in the truck
and be
or
like,
something.
okay, yeah, but I can see so well with these. So
I've been on a lot of hunts. Not to digress on spotting scope, if for guys that are listening, maybe haven't been out west, there's a big difference in good glass in Oklahoma and good glass in big country.
yeah,
Yeah.
So I had a pair of good glass here one time, and the guy was, when we get there, and we call them binos here, but this guy being New Mexico or Arizona guy, he's like, "You got good glass?" And I was like,
I think they're good, yeah. And we set up the first evening and start looking, and I want to throw these things off the mountain. And they're a pair of Vortex Diamondbacks, 12x50s, and around here they're phenomenal. And out there they're not. You get a lot of mirage, you get a lot of eye fatigue. So good glass is everything, right? And in my opinion on spotting scopes, and I've been behind a lot of glass. I've been on a lot of his hunts, and that's usually my only job is just the glass. And it's one thing to spend 30 minutes behind a good set of glass. It's another thing to spend 10 or 12 hours behind a pair.
Yeah.
So I went and bought me a better pair for big country, and then you really notice that when you come back, you're like, man, I thought these other ones were good around here, but these are even better, right? But big country is where you're going to find out for sure if your glass is good or not. And
I've got some Casios from 1983.
Yeah.
probably phenomenal.
You better borrow a pair of mine.
Spotting scopes, when you look down all day long, for me anyways, I get car sick easy, and so does Laramy, but it almost makes me just feel like you come out of it, you're like, whew, where binos, you kind of got your head on, that's my opinion. So I'm a bino guy like him. But.
And so I'll go back and kind of talk about two different products, and then I'll go back into this mule deer hunt. So when back then, like Vortex wasn't that big a thing, because I love Vortex and I like Swarovski.
I have a lot of Vortex.
And
phenomenal.
And what I will say now is I have that pair of 15x56s that I highly recommend. Well, Vortex, they go ahead and one up it, and they come out with an 18x56, and they are phenomenal. And so, I have a set of those too, that when we go on a trip, so he can be behind these 18x56s, and they're razors. And so back to when he talks about quality in the mountains versus quality here, I can tell you that if you'll go with Viper HD or better, which is Viper or Razor, out west is the only way to go.
Spend at least $500 on good glass.
Yeah.
Back to those 18.
Well, that's not that bad, really.
Right.
Yeah.
In 2018, that 18x56 wasn't even out yet. So they actually, our rep is like, if you guys go on this hunt, if I get you a pair of these, would you take them? I was like, absolutely. I'll give you a review on them. So I'm like one of the first guys, for sure in Oklahoma, maybe in the U.S. to get to actually take these on a hunt, besides the guys that work at Vortex. And I'm behind a brand new pair of 18 power Razor UHDs, which is ultra high definition. And man, were they awesome. So so we're on a mule deer hunt.
So anyway, we're on this mule deer hunt, and we're set up on this canyon, and I spot this shed that is forever away. And
it's further than that.
Chaz already told me he will go after his shed. I mean, that's his sole purpose in life, is to shed hunt. And so he drops down, and I'm going to be up there again spotting for him, so he can look back at me and I can direct him. So he drops off there, and he hasn't gone very far, and I'm already like, you're nuts, dude. Like, even if you turn around,
drops off there, dropped off,
and then he's got to go back up the other mountain.
If you could have walked straight to it across the sky, it would have been far enough. But I had to go down this.
So he has no firearm. I'm hunting, and I look at him right there, and I'm like, dude, it would be a job just to get up from where you're at right now if you just said, I'm going to turn around. So he gets down the bottom of this canyon, and there's mountain lion tracks.
And
and fresh dirt. No,
I
just feel so stupid.
Never surrender your weapons.
So I'm spotting him, and he gets out his knife. No, I'm just teasing. So anyway, he goes and he gets that shed, and I'm spotting him, and he grabs it after about 2 hours.
Yeah,
of walking.
probably 2 hours.
Oh yeah.
God.
I'm gone for at least 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, of course we're like midday, nothing's really going on. We got the guy even told me. I told him I don't want to run this hunt, but can I go get it? He's like, yeah, we got a few hours. You go ahead.
I thought you were gonna say you got down there and jumped the biggest mule deer you've ever seen.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah. So he comes back, and then we'll get on to this hunt while we're talking about glassing. So tough hunt. I mean, just not seeing a lot of animals, and I'm literally, and when you're glassing for mule deer, you're looking for an ear flick because they're sitting in the shade, and they're behind.
It's needles in a haystack.
They're hard to see.
For sure.
And I see an ear flick, I think, or Chaz does, and we don't see the animal we actually shoot. We actually see an animal he's with.
But it slowed us down.
It slowed us down, and then we find this mule deer that we're going to go after. So we make a game plan, and Chaz stays back, and we do the whole thing where me and the guide go head towards this mule deer, look back at Chaz for him to direct us. Well, what we don't realize is there's like 3 humps or 3 hills in between where we've started and where the mule deer is, and we're getting so far off track, and he has to guide us back in with.
Yeah, when they get ready to leave, I just made the comment. I said, "Is it good if one of us stays here?" And I'm thinking, even if we didn't bring the truck somewhere or something, I never really thought about. And the guide's like, he's a younger guy. He's like, that's not a bad idea. You might be able to kind of help direct us. I was like, oh, that's true. I can. So we made up our signals. Like, hey, over or straight back or whatever.
I remember being up on that mountain and thinking I'm going straight to where this mule deer's at, and I'm so far off.
And I'm
he
like,
just
I'm like way over here. Like,
yeah.
yeah. And so I get them back on track, and I'm like, now you go straight. Yeah. So they keep going.
So anyway, we because of that help, if that helps anybody out there listening, you know, we get up within like 300 yards of this thing and lay down and make a shot and you know, get this animal. And so it was a really awesome experience.
And it's cool for me. So I see this thing go boom. I was for a second I thought he was getting up. I mean, it takes so long to hear it, and they're long ways from me.
Yeah.
And this thing kind of kicks weird and maybe tries to stand up, and then I was like, what's he doing? And then boom.
So this is the first mule deer. I'm the only mule deer I guess I've ever killed, and so the best part of it for me was a pack out.
I've never
no elk.
I've never had a tag. I've got I think 3 or 4 preference points for Colorado, and I think I'm going to go next year if I can draw, which I think I'll draw. But
that's cool.
I've been.
It always seems like, well, I'll go. I mean, I've went elk hunting in Colorado a lot, but I'll go elk hunting, and I might see an elk or two, and they're probably not going to be legal, but I'll see
1 million
giant mule deer all over the place. I already know where I'm going to go.
Well, let's hope that
it'll probably be the opposite.
Next time
I'll
see elk.
Oh yeah, for
sure.
sure.
Just take your elk tag, get an elk tag too.
Yeah.
So
Anybody need more coffee?
I'm good, thank you, sir.
I'll take some more.
It's good
Okay.
coffee.
Very good coffee.
It's because it come in my grandpa's thermos.
There you go.
Tell me when.
Just leave room for creamer. That's good.
All right.
But no, we've been on some and that's cool. When you find, and I was listening to a podcast the other day, and a guy talked about, you know, finding a hunting buddy. Like you don't really, when you're blessed, like you guys, you know, growing up together hunting and Laramy and I being best friends. We've been on some great hunts together. And
Oh, it makes it so much fun.
You don't realize how many guys out there that probably hunt by themselves or don't have that guy.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I've always been the co-pilot, and this time got to be the driver. And, of course, I think I enjoy being the co-pilot more. So much less stressful. But
Well, it's so much fun.
it is, man. It's a good time.
The year that I killed him, I shot Chuck with Chase. October
1st.
Oh, wow.
Like we had him pinned, and I think what you was about to say was when you was coming to my house, he was like, "He's gonna do it." I'm confident.
As a matter of fact, I had some good deer on camera.
Yeah,
and they were a little iffy.
but Chuck was just
it wasn't just Chuck. There was 4 of them.
that's Chuck.
Okay.
There was 4 of them.
We called him Chuck because of Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
Looks like Chuck Liddell had a mohawk.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got to meet Chuck Liddell at SHOT Show one year.
This thing was so skinny. He was so skinny. He's like 12 and a half inches wide or something like that.
That's cool.
But
He looks like what we talked about. I mean, it looks like a buck that I shot. It's been like 7 or 8 years ago. But Tall Boy is what I named him, and he's a giant. He's scored 163 and 3/8.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
and he's
But
like
he's-
13 inches wide.
Yeah, he's like
No kidding.
Yeah,
He's not
he is
very
His
wide.
main frame and tall.
Massive.
but he goes straight up and has 20. One beam is 27
Yeah.
a quarter, and
Yeah.
one's like 26 and 3/4.
Does he nearly touch?
No,
Oh really? He just goes
comes
out.
straight up and goes out like that.
It's
That's where he gets his pine length.
Yeah.
He goes out. Yeah.
But we hunt pretty close together, so we kind of thought maybe he was
same genetics.
same genetics because it just goes straight up like
Just
that.
dumps out.
But-
Yeah.
Logan, I don't know how much time we have left. I have what I think is the closest I ever came to dying on a hunt that I'd like to share, but we can share it on another podcast. Or
Okay.
do you want to share it now? It's
I
up to
mean,
you.
let's do it.
You want to do it right now?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. So in 2016, I draw what I think's the best tag ever. I draw an Arizona elk tag. First year I ever put in.
Oh wow,
And
that's a hard tag to draw.
I'm stoked.
He's the luckiest guy in the world.
Coming
I
from
say
a
that.
guy-
yeah. Here's the tag, Chaz. Yeah. Maybe I am.
Second luckiest.
Yeah.
So, we all hear how hard it is to draw an Arizona elk tag, and I draw this tag, and I'm getting prepared. And so I've got a 1.5-year-old daughter, and the dying doesn't come from what I'm about to tell you. It comes on down the road. And so I come home and my wife tells me that our daughter's got hand, foot, and mouth.
Oh, yeah?
A lot of kids get, but adults don't really get.
Yeah.
I don't think nothing really about it. I must give her a kiss or whatever. And so my hunt starts on Friday, and I think this is Monday or Tuesday. And I get so stinking sick. Like, don't even know if I can go. Throwing up all night. And so I get up the next morning, and it's time to leave, but I feel better. So Chaz, my ride or die, gets in the truck with me, and we drive to Albuquerque.
I think so. Yeah.
Spend the night.
I'm like, hey, you're not contagious, are you? No. No.
So we spend the night, and I'll try to hurry this up a little bit through these points to get to the funny point. But so we spend the night, we get up the next morning, and we drive in, and my hands are starting to get sore. This hand, foot, and mouth makes your throat sore, your hands get sore, your feet get sore, which
Blisters.
is really, really good for an elk hunt, right?
Not exactly.
And so we scout this week. So I guess that would have been, we drove Wednesday. Thursday morning we get up, we scout Thursday night, and my guide, his brother, has seen this, what he thinks of to be a really nice, like 360-inch bull in this hay meadow with some cows. And he's coming off the mountain every evening, and he's eating down in this bottom. And he's like, he's yours if you want him. And I'm like, absolutely. And so my guide has another hunter there, an older man, and so I remember going up to the gate to go in and like glass this mountainside, and I can't hardly open the gate, and I can't hardly walk because this hand, foot, and mouth's affecting me. And so, long story short, the next
We
morning,
were by ourselves, weren't we?
yeah, when we were,
The guy, was he with someone else?
he
or-
went with the old man.
That's right,
So
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
talking about the scouting
Yeah,
the night
yeah.
before.
Gotcha.
And so Friday morning we wake up, and the guide is going to go with the old man, and he drops Chaz and I off down in the lower. And I remember the guide, and I'm sick, so I know I can't walk a long ways. And I remember the guide just saying, "Hey, look, you need to get this done, because if you screw this up, the bull's going to go over the mountain, and you're, with your condition, you're probably not going to," because I'm starting to run fevers and I'm just really sick. I mean, like anything that could happen happens with this for me. I guess I'm a
runs.
baby. And so I remember we walk out there, and it starts to break daylight, and I hear this thing bugling, and he's starting to come off the mountain, and he's starting to get out in this meadow with these cows.
And the meadow's still dark, but we're breaking daylight. You can just,
Yeah.
you're squinting to see. But
And so awesome bull. And I get down, and I just can't, I don't feel comfortable with this shot. It's like 600 yards. And so we move up a little bit farther, and I think we get to like 489, and I dial my dial, and I shoot.
high range, 489,
Yeah.
he dials. Yep.
I shoot, and I miss him. And so he runs, because the shot went over his back. He runs to us and stops about 45 yards broadside.
Yeah, because
So-
he's standing up like right in front of a
he
hill.
stops at 45
No,
yards?
at
he runs
445.
Yeah.
He
So
runs
he-
about 45 yards.
The
to
bullet
us.
goes over him, hits the hill behind him, which makes a sound.
Yep.
And he kind of looks back like not sure what that was, and kind of runs to us and turns broadside. Then I range him again at
range him,
445.
I dial my Kenton dial, and I mean, I send a good one and get him. So we get up there and call the guide, or guide comes, and we get him. We take him back to the deal, and I'm just continue to get sicker and sicker and sicker. And so I've tagged out on the first day, and one thing about my hunts is I normally tag out on the last like minute.
Yeah.
And
This
so-
is like the first minute.
yeah, and so like we've got all week to fish and do all this fun stuff. And so we get back, we clean him, we do all that, and I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I've killed the nicest bull elk I've ever killed, and I, we take pictures and we do all this stuff, and I just keep getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and so my throat's getting sore. So this guide that I have has this huge ranch that has all these good cattle, and he cooks this huge steak that night.
man.
And for me to be able to eat, my throat is so sore that I have to like drink a dill of whiskey and wash around in my mouth to numb it, and then I eat. It's how bad it is. So we go to bed that night, and I don't know how much of this I can tell, but I will just say there was a certain thing in my body that women don't have that decided to swell up,
Oh, no.
and I'm talking I was in pain.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's part of the hand, foot, and mouth, I guess?
Yes. Yeah, with a fever. Gosh. And so we're wanting to go fishing up on the mountain, and Chaz is like, he's like, let's go. And so we wake up. I mean, yeah, let's go. We want to have a good time. So we go up the mountain, And Chad, we get up there and I just get sicker. And so I lay in this truck and I just sleep. And so he fishes. Of course, it's miserable for him because I'm miserable.
And I feel bad. I'm not. Maybe we should just go.
And so we go to drive off. Go to drive off the mountain, and I said, "Take me to the ER." And I'm 100% sure that when they take me to the ER, I might not walk out of there. Like that's how sick I am.
Yeah.
And so we go to the ER, and they're like, "Oh, you've got hand, foot, and mouth, just a virus. We can't do anything about it." Blah blah blah. And they take us to we go back to the deal, right? And is it at that point that I decide, let's go home?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's right.
Because I'm just so sick. I just want to go home. So about the time we pack up the truck, my truck needs some DEF, 2015, this is in 16, Duramax. I stop at a convenience store there, I put DEF in it, and I don't drive 3 miles down the road, and it's like, your DEF is bad or whatever it says. And you've got 200 miles to go for your limited to 65 mile an hour. And I'm like,
oh, gosh,
we're going home. And so we got this meat in the back of this in my white ice chest that I've gotten from Amy's uncle. And so we take off. We're going to head home. So I get this just beyond harebrained, ridiculous idea that if I can drain the tank, I can put new DEF in there and maybe I can get it to work. So we stop and I'd knock a hole in the tank. You remember that?
I forgot about that. And when it tells you like 261 miles and then you're limited at that time, it's a computer deal. Like boom, limited to 65. You can push on the pedal as hard as you want. And that's 65 is all you get. Then it says so many miles to 55. Then so many miles.
So my small-minded brain is thinking if I can poke a hole in this tank, drain this bad DEF out, I'll put new DEF in and I'll put a plug in that hole I made, and then we'll roll again. Well, that was not very smart.
Didn't happen.
Yeah. So this doesn't work. So then it limits us to 55 miles an hour. And so we get to this hotel, and I've got these horns, and we can't drive any farther. And it's Saturday, so the dealership's not going to be open till Monday in Albuquerque, and we're like 55 miles away, but we can't make it because the truck has limited us to like 4 miles an hour. And so
in a jam.
So we go in this hotel and there's two parts of this. Chaz,
I carry him up there and no.
So I ask them if the horns can go in, and they're like, yeah. So, you're walking to this motel with this big set of elk horns.
Big.
We put them in there, and I check in. Chaz goes to the room, and when I checked in, it was a casino, and they told me, this is the happiest I've ever seen him in my life. They tell me, they're like, you get so much in free play and you get to spin this wheel over here and you can win money. And so I go over there and I spin it and I win like $20. And so I go up to the motel and you can tell he's kind of bummed out and I'm sick. I'm running a fever. And so I tell him, I said, hey, go down there and they'll give you a free spin on this deal if you'll win some money. So he goes down there, speaking of lucky, he spins this and wins $500.
The most you can win is $500.
Yeah. And he is on cloud.
And this
9.
lady's behind the window or whatever, and she said, "Go ahead and spin." She's not paying attention. I'm sure people hit $5 all the time or whatever. And I spin it, and I said, "It says 500." She's like, "Yeah, that's $5." I see the decimal. And I was like, "It says like 500." And then she was like, "Huh?" So she walks out there. She's like, "I've worked here for however long, 4 years or something. No one's ever hit that." And she walks out and looks at it. Well, sure enough, and it's like ding, 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 ding. Oh man,
So we spend the night there, and now it's going to be Sunday morning, and so we got to spend another night because we can't leave till Monday to get the truck to dealership in Albuquerque.
Yeah. So we're in Grant, I think. So we're like
Grant's
40 or 50 miles west of Albuquerque.
And so Sunday, I just lay in bed sick all day, and he's the happiest guy I've ever seen.
I'm still counting my money.
And so, do you remember when I stubbed my toe on the elk horn?
Oh yeah,
started
middle of
laughing
the night.
at me in the middle of the night. I got up to pee in the middle of the night, and I walked by and I stubbed my toe on these elk horns, and my toenail has never grown right since. By the way. And he's laughing at me, and I'm sick, and so we call in a tow truck, and this is where the story gets wild. So we are going to load the truck up on a tow truck, and we are going to ride with this tow truck driver to Albuquerque, which is about 50 or 60 miles. And so it's a rollback, an older one.
A short one.
And a short one. So this truck is loaded down. It's got elk in the back. It's got all of our luggage, 3/4 ton Duramax, 4-door, and it barely fits on the truck.
Like his back tires are on the edge, like where it looks like at any minute could they roll back?
And so this rollback is setting like this, and this this driver goes over to a convenience store, and he goes in there and he buys 3 Monster energy drinks that were like $5
Yeah.
a piece. And I'm like, oh my
Like he
goodness.
probably gets paid $15 an hour. He just spent
Yeah.
hours worth of wages on energy drinks.
See if I can get it in there. There you go. It's barely focusing.
So, you got the elk horns in the back of the truck. It's loaded on the rollback. And as soon as we get in, he just starts dogging this truck. He's like, this truck is a piece of crap. And my boss bought it 3 years ago, and it
He's a
needs
tight
new
wad.
ball joints and all this. So we go to get on the interstate, and as we make the swoop up, the truck dies.
Oh, gosh.
And him, without missing a beat, opens the door, pops the hood because he didn't have that side latch, and grabs a can of ether and just starts shooting.
And uses it like wasp spray.
Yeah, like wasp
I mean,
spray.
just from here to there.
And he's like, crank her back up.
Pump
And
it
I
on
mean,
the
he cranks it back up, and this truck just goes, "Wah!" like
Oh,
it's going to
yeah.
blow up. And we get on the interstate. And
Then we miss our on-ramp at first.
Yeah.
Then we had to turn around. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we loop back around, and we get on the interstate. And, I mean, this guy drives the heck out of this truck. So he's talking about how bad this truck is and how it needs ball joints, and he's driving it. And, I mean, it's just all over the road, all over the road. And I'm thinking in my head, like, my truck's got the weight. All the weight's on the back of this truck. It doesn't even feel like the front tires on this wrecker is even hardly on the pavement.
Just getting the death bobbles.
But you're
Yeah.
thinking like, well, he's going to drive like 55, 60 mile an hour. No. No. So I'm sitting in the middle, no seatbelt. Chaz is on my right side, and he drives this truck as fast as it will go. So we'll get to going
He's
downhill.
standing on the gas pedal.
We get
not
to going
pushing.
downhill, and this truck we'll get to running like 90.
I'm over with my phone GPS, and I'm like showing him like 91, and I'm flipping out.
I mean, I'm praying.
so I'm reaching back there, grabbing that seatbelt.
I don't have that opportunity. And when I say driving, I mean, we are white line to white line, and he's just passing semis. And I'm trying to tell him, like, hey, dude,
We're
I
in
don't-
no hurry.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't care. And I am convinced that we are not going to make it to Albuquerque. And so I was never so glad to see that town in my life.
Like if hand, foot, mouth doesn't kill Laramy this trip, this record will.
And so we get into Albuquerque, and we are less than 2 miles from the dealership. And I remember it broke down again.
Dies again, right in traffic.
Right in traffic.
We're
And
like in 5
And he
lanes.
does the same thing, jumps out, just shoots her full of ether. And at this point, I don't care because I'm like, we can unload the truck and we can drive 4 mile an
4
hour,
mile an hour,
to
yeah.
the dealership, So I know that's not much of a hunting story, but it was probably the most memorable thing,
yeah.
and scariest thing I've
It's
ever
like that
been on.
awkward laugh too. Like when the teacher says in class, "Hey, no more laughing," and you're like,
Yeah.
That's how it was. And we were sitting there like, and he was trying to talk, and he was serious, and I'm over there like looking out the window, like trying to make it funny, but no, we're this close to dying. I mean,
Right.
oh man, what a trip for
That's funny.
golly.
Well, it's been so much fun.
Yeah.
I told you, it's just
Thanks
so
for having
easy to.
Yeah.
It feels
Yeah.
like you're sitting around a fire.
Right.
Yeah,
Campfire.
absolutely.
A campfire, you know.
And we're so relatable, I mean, we all have the same things
Yeah.
in common. And I notice as I get friends, hunting brings so many friends into my circle just because that's what we all have in common.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's my favorite time of year.
I could talk to anybody about hunting.
Yeah,
Hunting, fishing.
yeah, absolutely.
Whatever.
Yeah. So
for sure.
The only thing that I was going to mention was the giveaway, but I mean, really, I haven't totally dialed that thing in yet. But we've got our store, we got a website going, and so we got
Got some good merch on there.
get some merch
awesome.
on there.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a giveaway, and I'm so blessed that you guys are gonna partner up with us. on it.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
we're
excited
gonna
that
give
you
away.
thought of us.
We're gonna give away a Banks Stump 4 blind, right?
Yes.
Did we decide which one?
Phantom 360, I believe.
The Phantom 360.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's tinted windows.
Yeah.
That's got the longer side windows for bow shooting. If
Yeah.
It is literally my favorite thing to
Yeah.
hunt out of.
they're awesome,
I
especially
love
with
that.
kids or
Yeah.
and wife or whatever. It's
When we talk about sales on blinds, I carry some other brands, but that Banks probably outsells everything 15, 20 to 1 compared
Yeah.
to other brands. So
Yeah. So we're gonna do that real soon. This is our 4th episode, and so tomorrow I'm going to upload all 4 of them. They're going to be live as long as everything works out. This is all new to us. We've had problems with every single episode so far, but tonight was pretty much without a hitch. So. But congratulations!
Thank you.
On your
hunt of a lifetime.
Hunt of a lifetime. I feel like it was just a gift from God.
Absolutely.
You showed you He's not done with
That's
you.
right.
And
so many people don't notice the small things, but I mean, He's and His eternal power and Godhead and His attributes are clearly seen when you're looking for Him. So Romans 1:21 talks about that. But yeah, I mean, we're Laramy and I are both blessed. Even as much as we've both been through in our lives, we're still, and we're healthy. We have great wives, great children. We're great jobs, and we get to go hunting trips together and come talk to guys like you. We're blessed, man. So
yeah.
Sure.
Well, thanks guys for coming in. It was so much fun. I really did have a good time.
And if this episode does go live quickly enough, just a reminder to everybody that L&L is having our Customer Appreciation Day, September 26th. Is that what it is?
Yes, on a Friday.
Yep. So the L&L's Customer Appreciation is always the last Friday of September every year. So put that in your bank or your member bank if you can't make it this year. But Laramy gives away a lot of prizes, a lot of drawing type prizes. A lot of our reps will come and you can kind of hands on if you want to talk to a guy about this or that product. And all of our employees are hands on deck, and we feed people. There's going to be a live band this year. Beatty Creek Band is.
Oh yeah.
We try to feed about 800 people. The shot pouches that are locals there have a hog fry, and the big hit this year is we're giving away an Uncle Dan's Hitman blind. It's about a $1,600 value. And
I'll tell you what, I really like those blinds.
Yeah, they're nice.
We'll give away about $5,000 and stuff. There's 3 guns,
and
Vortex optics, Oakley sunglasses, Benchmade knives.
Yep, a lot of cool stuff.
So you don't have to be present to win. You got to be there at some point to fill out a ticket, eat with us, and join it. So
well, I'm unfortunately not going to be there. I'm going camping tomorrow when I get done with these videos.
When did you say it was again?
26th.
yeah, September 26th.
Oh, is
Friday.
Is that next Friday?
Correct. Yeah, not this Friday.
You'll be
but-
back.
Oh, I'll be back. Awesome.
So it's all day. I mean, we usually eat around 11:30 or 12, and then it's just all day. We're just there till
And it's hard to judge how many people we're going to get. So we buy about 400 pounds of meat, and we've judged it different years, but typically 400 pounds of meat will feed about 800 people. Normally we have about 700 people come through the door. And the one year we run out at 12, I think. Of
12:30 or something.
So
Is moose going to be on the menu?
If I had it back in time, it definitely would. We actually ate I took one hind quarter home, and the rest went to the processor, and of course the back straps. But I threw some steaks on the grill the other night, and just fast cooked them to 125, 126 temperature, and
Were they good?
unreal.
Oh man, I've never had
everybody always says this tastes like chicken or that tastes like beef, but beef is obviously good. Deer's good and lean. Some people don't like deer maybe taste, but if I had to say that moose is anything, it's better than beef. And I'm telling you,
wow,
the steak was unreal.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, so
Awesome.
it better be one time deal. So it better be good. But no,
Yeah.
does it taste like moose?
it tastes a lot like moose. if you kill,
It tastes like me.
yeah, if you kill a couple, it tastes like meese. So, but I think one more little shout out. Laramy's dad just passed away.
Yeah.
And we buried him Saturday. But this Customer Appreciation is also going to be a celebration of his life, and his
memorial.
legacy. Yeah. So he started the pawn shop in '81.
Yeah.
Laramy took over in 2017 and went from pawn shop to an outdoor store. And our goal is to to reach people like you got and just help the hunter out that wants the next best equipment or we sell quality stuff. But the legacy started with him, right? I mean, so we get a chance to kind of tell everybody
Sure.
share the legacy that he was.
It's an awesome store. Me and Logan go in there all the time.
Yeah.
They got everything.
Yeah.
And it's in Jay, Oklahoma.
Yep.
So if you're passing through, or
L&L Outdoors.
yeah,
Yes.
you're passing through, you live around the area,
Come see
Jay, Oklahoma, go to L&L.
It's worth
what
it.
you need.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, see you guys soon. Thanks for
Alrighty.
coming.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.